Yes, everybody, and welcome to High on Homegrown, the cannabis podcast from Percy'sGrowroom.com. I am Mackie from the UK, and joining us this week, we have Margaret.
Hello, everyone. It is Margaret from Bite Me, the show about edibles, coming at you from Central Ontario, Canada. Yeah.
Nice. We have Monkey Doo.
Hey everybody, Monkey down here in the Southeast US enjoying a nice little Sunday. It's not Saturday, it's Sunday afternoon.
Boy, it's Saturday. It is Saturday, right?
It is Saturday? Okay, well maybe that. Yeah. It's good weed then, really good weed. You got time travel involved in it like that. I hope everybody's got something nice to smoke today, and we're gonna have a good show.
Yes, man. We also have Billy Bonds.
Yo, from Cornwall. It's quite good here. I'm smoking some hash as normal. And my drink was a bit lemony for some strange reason.
Oh, no. Have you done that before the show? That.
Well, no, I've done it. Well, technically, I've done it while you was introducing everyone else. So,
so it's going to be a
so
good
you've done during the show. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my. Okay. Oh, anybody who's listening, if you know what Billy's talking about, then let us know, in the chat. Why was Billy's drink extra lemony? I'm sure we will figure that out as the show progresses. Yeah, we'll see you later then, Billy. Right?
Yeah, man.
Maybe he should do his article pretty quick.
You could have said that before we ordered the structure and shit. But anyway,
but that's funnier.
Yeah, this is gonna be it's gonna be a damn good show. Let's go. Let's go. Hold tight, Billy. Hold tight. Yeah, so it's been an interesting week. Tight. Lots of good news out there to be covering today. We've got 5 news articles to cover. And in the Grow Guides, we're going to be talking about germinating cannabis seeds so everybody can finally get their grow started. So, we've gone through all of the stuff you need and what you have to get for your setup and where to get your seeds and what medium to grow, what nutrients, everything's covered. You've got everything you need. And now we're going to actually start the grow. So we'll cover that in the Grow Guides later on. But yeah, what are we smoking on this week then? What have we got? Monkey, you want to go first? Tell us what you got.
I've got a couple things out here. I got some Nakatomi Plaza that I'm going back to. It's a really nice cured, about 6 months in the jar. So we'll start with that. Then I've got a bunch of hash out here, the Dr. Deborah switch. As soon as it charges, we'll be going that way. So there you go.
And edibles? Or you going out with?
Edibles this morning, but they're kind of worn off. So we're going to go the other way.
Nice. It's going to be a good session today. What do you have today, Margaret? You got something nice?
Yeah, I've got some edibles. I made like an infused avocado toast not that long ago.
Oh, you're one of them, are you?
Yeah, I it was delicious actually. And considering I will probably never buy a house ever again, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. So you might as well have avocado. And that's the price, anyway. You either have a house or you have avocado on toast. I've seen the memes.
Yeah.
But me, on the other hand, I tried avocado on toast once, thought it was shit, still don't have a house. Oh. So,
how dare you?
I don't have either. Gosh, where did it all go wrong? God damn. Anyway, what are you saying, Billy? Have you got something nice?
I do. I have some Lime Oz from Perfect Tree, which is what I got in Barcelona. And let me tell you, it is really nice. I can certainly recommend this one, man. It's really like limey, cushy. Like it's like a cushy fog to it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's got some right terpiness to it. I only tested it this afternoon and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to grab another little branch of that and turn that into an extra long tester.
Beautiful. Very nice.
Obviously some hash too, so as you do.
Nice. I got some Stilton. I'm coming to the end of this joint, man. I wanted to roll another one before the show, but I'm there looking at it like that would be enough for you lightweights. You just need a little bit. And then I've smoked loads of it. And I'm like, maybe I should have rolled another one. So I'll roll another one when we get to the smoke break, I think.
I'll roll one while Marge is doing her story.
Margaret, Billy.
Margaret. Sorry, Margaret. I excuse myself. I will beat myself harshly. I'd like to say, point out, Monkey, congratulations on smoking the hash. Well done.
No problem at all, Billy. It's not the first time I've done it, so yeah.
Really?
Hold on, you get trophies and shit for this kind of thing now?
Exactly. Yeah. Participation awards is what we
get. Yeah. So we get participation awards, like we're doing some breakdancing from Australia.
The controversy.
I finally
wow.
watched that thing. I looked long and hard on everywhere I could feel if I could finally find that clip. It's hard to find it unless you go to their official app because of all that rebroadcast. I
Did
mean,
you find it?
I did. It was posted today on a clip on Instagram, actually, the full performance. So I did actually
Yeah.
finally get to see it. So I finally got to see what everybody's talking about.
I
Takes a
saw the
while.
full clip the other day too, and it was as bad as
Yeah.
as
It
we all
looked like-
thought.
It didn't look professionally done, but I'm sorry, Ray Gun out there. I know you got your feelings hurt from people talking about it.
Well,
I'm gonna laugh once and stop laughing. There you go.
I'm not sure what she was expecting though. Like honestly, I've seen professional break dancers before. I'm sure we all have.
Oh yeah.
mhm.
And like, why weren't they at the Olympics? I don't know.
Well, being from the UK, all I'm going to say is I'm going to follow the narrative and say she was a tremendous dancer. It was a incredible performance, and I look
It
forward to
was.
seeing it doing again in the next Olympics.
All of that's great. It was an incredible performance, and I'm looking forward to seeing her do it again.
Oh, that's the sad thing. Unfortunately, that it got dropped. It was dropped
You know,
before. So
It was
we
so
won't get to
bad,
see
they're
her
not going to
again.
do breakdancing again.
That's how bad she was it? It's like she destroyed
Yeah.
breakdancing in one move.
I
Oh,
didn't
geez.
see a lot of the other break dancing, but the little bit that I did see, I wasn't necessarily overly impressed.
Oh, that's quite sad because a Canadian guy won it in the men's one.
Did he?
So, and
Oh,
you're
I totally
Canadian.
missed that.
That's sad. If you're Canadian, you weren't even supporting your country, Margaret.
There's
Terrible.
so much Olympics to
Disappointing.
watch it all.
Terrible. Terrible. Why did you should watch every single moment your country participates in?
No,
Why
I
should-
should, but I don't.
That lemon's kicking in already, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is. A bit of lemon.
Yeah, mate. So should we we'll have a quick read through some of the articles that we're going to go through today, so people get a quick spoiler of what we're going to be covering. We have some news from Australia where a Perth schoolboy started his own business, but it
Yeah,
was an
it's very
incredibly
entrepreneurial.
but bad idea though, because he made the business by making his own cannabis gummies and lollies and selling them and stuff. So bad kid. No, kind of good but kind of bad. You know how it is. Terrible. So yeah, we're going to give you some more news on that. We also have the California senators approved bill to let cannabis growers sell directly to consumers. So you might be seeing the rise of the farmers market, and we speak about it many times on the show.
Mhm.
You know how we want to get to the stage where you can simply sell cannabis at a farmer's market, sell your own homegrown. So that might be happening in California. We'll get more details on that in a little bit as well. Loads of people are flying cannabis into the UK in suitcases and hat cases. Remember that from Forrest Gump? Classic.
Yeah. This is one I definitely want to read this because I mean it's just the first line of the article is pretty good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this one.
And a shitload as well. It's not just a few; it's a lot of cannabis coming into the country. Yeah, that's one we're going to cover in a little bit. Remember when we covered that story about a woman who smoked some cannabis, freaked out, stabbed her partner like 100 times and shit like that?
Mhm.
Yeah, we've got some updates with her. Let's find out what happened with that story. And then we're going to be speaking about JD Vance a little bit later on as well. And he claims there's fentanyl in cannabis bags that teenagers are using. So we'll be taking a closer look at that later on as well. So yeah, some interesting news articles for sure. And are we ready to move on to it straight away? Is there anything to add before we move on? Everybody want to light a joint before we go? We should do that, right?
I've already got the vaporizer running, man. So I'm ahead of you on that one.
And if you're listening, it's time to smoke. Are we ready for the news, everybody?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Is that a dog sound I heard?
I don't know.
Mine.
I don't have a dog, so it wasn't me.
I heard it, so it wasn't me. Put it that
Yeah.
way. I heard it in my headphones. It wasn't me.
God damn, this joint got me again at the start of the news like last week. This is a repeat episode.
A little deja vu. Are you waiting?
Yeah.
for me?
Simulation. The
Lightweight
simulation's
Mac, he
kicked
can't
in.
even handle one joint. See?
Yeah, a black cat walked across the doorway, I reckon, then.
Oh, don't get me started on that. Yeah.
And I do joke a little bit about that, but that's something I'm serious. I never try to harass people if they cough when they smoke. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah, it's not really much you can do about it usually.
Nah, it's just kind of a joke. I'll make a joke about being a lightweight, but I'm never serious about it.
Hey, man, with the amount of weed I used to smoke, I'm pretty happy to be a lightweight, you know? Jesus. Yeah, just one joint is enough for me usually. But anyway, what do we have today? Should we go on to the first article? That's you, Margaret.
Yes, I think we should, because this is an interesting one about a Perth schoolboy charged after allegedly making and selling cannabis-laced gummy lollies. And while I applaud him for his entrepreneurial efforts, it might have been a little too much too soon. But a Perth schoolboy has been charged with manufacturing and selling gummy lollies laced with cannabis, which left 2 teenagers in hospital and sparked an unusual urgent public health warning. On Wednesday evening, WA police issued an alert for urgent broadcast asking any students from Western Suburbs School who had purchased or been given gummy lollies in recent days not to ingest them. Police said a student from a secondary school in the area had been found in possession of gummy lollies believed to be laced with THC. On Thursday morning, detectives confirmed that they had charged a 16-year-old boy with 9 drug charges after searching his home in the riverside suburb of Dalkeith. It is alleged that the boy manufactured the cannabis lollies and sold 3 of them to a 16-year-old student at a high school in the western suburbs on Tuesday. The student and another female pupil ate the lollies, fell ill, and needed to be taken to the hospital. Both were allowed to go home after treatment. The school then tipped off police about the incident. Police released a picture of the lollies, dark blue in color with a hole in the middle in a jar. The boy was arrested and will appear in Perth Children's Court next month. Among several other alleged offenses, he's been charged with possessing a prohibited drug with intent to sell supply. Police said there's no further public health concern. I have to say I'm pretty impressed with the lollies or whatever, the gummies in the jar. It's like they're, but
yeah, man, I'm just, there's so many questions, I wonder how strong they were, for one.
Exactly. First thing I wanted to know was how,
and did he
what are we
tell
looking
these
at?
kids that they were laced allegedly with THC? I mean, he must have, but
Yeah, and it's pretty irresponsible, in my opinion, at least, for anybody to sell gummies without telling the people what the strength of these gummies are. I mean, I have shared some of my gummies with other med patients, but I always tell them what the milligram dose is.
yeah.
And he sold 3 of them to a 16-year-old student at high school.
Wow.
So why did he only sell 3?
Maybe they weren't that good.
Yeah, you'd be thinking he was going to school like selling them out to loads of people. Why was only 3 sold if he had a load?
They only found like 3 people who had said they sold them. Maybe the others didn't come forward, or maybe it sold them and they're the first customers. They got ill, said it was him, and he got busted before he could sell any more.
Yeah, that could be.
Well, but it also, like you said, Billy, if I was in Australia, knowing how illegal and how serious they take this stuff like that, if I bought them and found out this was happening, I'd keep my mouth shut for sure.
And that's a good point, So yeah, he only sold 3. The maths teacher had 4.
Right. Well, maybe it was also because it was those 3 students. Well, I guess it said 1 student and 2 students went to the hospital. So maybe it was those ones, because it says they fell ill, which doesn't say they got too high either. So
which basically means they had a little bit of nausea, got really high, thought, I don't know what's happening, go to the hospital, I'm gonna die, all paranoid because they've been told like weed's bad, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well,
When it says treatment, it means the doctor looked at them and said, yeah, you'll be all right, lay down for 10 minutes. That's treatment, isn't it? A doctor saying something to you is treatment.
But they could also be like, go
is
to
an
the
aspirin.
hospital, because if they've never been really high on edibles before and they got too high, that is pretty scary.
Well,
Time is moving really slowly. I think we're dead.
It's just first timer syndrome, basically. We're probably really
definitely
strong because he's made them first of all. So it's just, again, it's the regulation and the education which has failed everyone rather than anything else.
Brand new, a young kid like that, a young child, not we call cop, listen, a teenager, a relatively young teenager, even 5 milligrams can probably throw them out of whack if they're brand new, completely inexperienced. And it's highly possible that maybe some of these people took these things and then made their parents notice they were staggering around the house a little bit. Of course, parents are going to want to ask questions there. Why are you staggering? And if you don't answer and don't smell alcohol, you may end up in a hospital that way. Just until they find out what happened.
Oh my God, he's high on drugs.
Oh my God, we better get it out there. He's got reefer madness.
But also I wanted to add here as well, and I'm not condoning what the kid's done in any way. You shouldn't be fucking making cannabis gummies for taking them to school. These things are for adults only. But how many children every day? Let's not even wrap it up to every year, because this is going to be a daily event in a country the size of Australia. How many children are going to hospitals having their stomach pumped because they drank too much alcohol?
Yeah, I'd like to know on the same day in the same hospital how many children reported with alcohol and what was their condition at the end of it. Was they sent home at the end of the day, and how many weren't sent home?
And again, I'm not saying that what the kid did was good. He shouldn't have been doing this, just by making a comparison to alcohol like that. But why doesn't alcohol get the same headlines that the cannabis thing does? You know what I mean?
We're just so used to it. It's like
exactly.
It's accepted, and like that's just part of the whole thing. Kids will be kids.
Yeah, that's the attitude.
It's more reefer madness. This story is, again, they're just still pumping out the same reefer madness stories, isn't they? Really, over and over.
And that's the thing, when you have prohibition, you don't often have the education that you would have if it was legal. Because then kids might be a little more self-aware and aware of what's going on and what they're ingesting and what they should be doing and shouldn't be doing.
Isn't it? Education and regulation with the sale. So you just got to have, right, this is how many milligrams is on the packet, and it says not for sale for kids, no under 18s. Done, sorted. Like, and then you know.
Yeah.
And then the kid knows that 50 milligrams is a high dose to take. First of all, I think I have the 5 or 10 milligram edibles instead.
You see this shit here,
and it says on the packet. Yeah,
Cookie Grow.
Like legal, so you
Cookie Grow in the Cookie Grow in the chat there. He said, I've seen a person go to hospital for weed. They sat in the waiting room for 5 hours, then they left on their own accord. Yeah, and that's what happens in the UK. You go to A&E in the UK, you're looking at what, 8 to 10 hour wait before you get seen.
You won't get a seat in the waiting room. You have to sit in like some fucking on the floor in the cold concrete corner or something like.
Damn. And be thinking, what have I done with my life?
Right. And then you're under those fluorescent lights around all kinds of people who are in like legit pain and stuff, and you're like, yeah.
Very interesting though, and he doesn't mention how the kid managed to get hold of the cannabis in the first place to turn it into edibles.
No, I have so many questions after reading this, actually.
Yeah. Edibles are not that straightforward. It does take a small learning curve to figure it out. So who taught this kid how to do it?
Oh no! How many kids had marbles up their nose at the same time? Because I reckon that's quite dangerous.
Right.
Yeah, cool article. Bad kid, man. It's stupid to do something so young. Concentrate on the education while you're still at school, kids. But there should be no kids.
Sell them to adults only, you idiot! Like,
that was his first mistake.
Yeah. So interesting story. Nice one, Marge. Thanks for bringing that on. Should we go on to the next one? Are you ready for your one there, Monkey, from California?
Let's do that one.
This is going to be so cool.
No, this comes from Marijuana Moment, and it was brought to me for my attention by our man over at the site. It says, California senators approve bill to let marijuana growers sell directly to consumers at state-run farmers markets. And, we've talked about this for a long time. If I got a little extra home grow, it sure would be nice to share it rather than just letting it sit on the shelf going to waste. So here we go. California senators have advanced an assembly-passed bill that would allow regulators to issue a new license allowing small cannabis growers to sell their products directly to consumers at state-organized farmers markets and other temporary events.
That's so cool. That's so fucking cool.
That is exciting.
I mean, it's a bit shit there where they say they make a new license, so you're going to have a license for this shit, but maybe it won't be so bad.
Maybe, in time this could change, but right now I think, that's we still have a step in the right direction that we're allowing some people to enter the market at least temporarily here. So the legislation from Assembly Member Gail Pellerin was unanimously approved in the Senate Appropriations Committee at a 4-0 vote on Thursday. Adults would also be able to consume cannabis on site at approved events. If enacted, however, the law would not mean that small cultivators could freely market their product alongside other traditional vendors selling fruits and vegetables at traditional farmers market, for example, unless there was a local and state regulatory approved to sell cannabis in a specialized area. So
what does that mean?
It means that you're going to sell fruits and vegetables here, and there will be a physical, not some kind of a barrier, like cannabis here, other stuff here. So I'm assuming that they're doing that because they're probably wanting to keep minors out of the cannabis area.
See, because I'm kind of looking here. So it will be they mean not next door as in store, not because I kind of got the impression that they wouldn't be allowed at the same farmers markets because food's being served at this farmers market, so you couldn't have cannabis. You have to have a separate farmers market specifically for cannabis. or would
It
they
could
just
be
have
it could be
separate
something
areas?
as simple as a rope and something like
Okay.
that, but some kind of defined barrier saying in signage saying they basically no one under X number of years beyond this
Right.
point,
Yeah.
kind of thing
Okay.
like
Yeah,
that.
that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm assuming that because still in the States we're very very active in trying to separate cannabis from juveniles at this point. So I'm assuming that bit of the reefer madness is still there.
VIP reefer madness section, like
Pretty much, yeah. But I'd take it. I'd go. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, right? You got to block it up with like behind the curtain, like Phil said there in the chat. And it's like the kids will be peeking, like, "Oh, it looks so cool back there." Doesn't
Right.
just that make it more interesting?
In a way, it kind of does, because think about it. If you had walls in shops and markets and stores that sold liquor, and kids could never see in there until they were actually of age to actually see it, every kid in the world would want to know what is in there. It would be
We are a curious species, for sure.
It's kind of like kind of like young kids being curious about the other sex. Everybody's got to have that. Oh, do you know anything? So the same thing would happen with alcohol. Have you ever seen behind that door? It's one of those kind of things. So I think, yeah, in a way, putting up a curtain or actually separating them and not treating it like it's just normal could actually be doing harm in the long term. But we have hope that maybe down the line, after some of the reefer madness wears off, that maybe we could be normal again and actually be over there next to the tomatoes.
It would be cool. Nice, because I know when I go to my local farmer's market on the weekend where I am, there's like a vendor that sells wine, like right next to the vegetable people and the cheese people and the flour people and the people selling food. And it's, I mean, you'd still have to be 19 to buy.
There should be cheese, wine, and cannabis all next to each other, and then everyone can talk about how they've made their what they've done and they've procured it and where from. Because obviously, like the cheese people have got different varieties and it's all made in different ways. The same as the wine people, the same as the cannabis people. They've all got their connoisseur parts to. And it's no different.
And at the farmers market, be more craft like that as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is because of the craft to be like that, then they can talk about their specific craft.
Now
it's like you get
it's completely different state, but it was Washington State in Seattle. We went to the farmers market there, and it was just exactly like Margaret. I have to get that right, and I'm going to get it right.
You will. I know
myself on the head with this one. But anyway, just like Margaret said. You've got somebody selling cherries right here, and right next door they're selling all kind of wines, and it was there was no barrier.
Yeah,
it's all there, and it was all just homemade good stuff right there at the farmers market. So why would cannabis need to be separated as long as it was marketed and done correctly?
If I had to guess, it's for the children.
Yeah. You have to think of the children. Somebody please think of the children.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah. All right, let's go a little further with the article and see how it goes here. The Senate Appropriations Committee also amended the legislation to delay the implementation until January 1st, 2026. Under the proposal, the Department of Cannabis Control would be authorized to issue a state temporary events license to license authorizing on-site cannabis sales to and consumption by persons 21 years of age or older at certain venues expressly approved by local jurisdiction as specified in the bill. The local jurisdictions would need to consent to allowing the events in order for a license to be granted. So this is not just state saying you can have it anywhere. This is basically saying if the towns want it, they can have it, but if they don't have to. So I like that. Again, personal choice. Applicants wishing to obtain a state temporary events license would also need to meet the definition of a small cannabis producer. That means they could not be cultivating more than 1 acre of cannabis, 2,200 square feet, under a mixed light tier 1 cultivation, or 5,000 square feet under a mixed light tier 2 or indoor cultivation license. That's just all technical jargon. Basically, they want you to be craft grower.
Which is good.
I would. To me, if I'm going to a farmer's market, that's what I want to buy there. I don't want to buy.
That's what you're going for.
Yeah, I don't want this. I don't want mids. I don't want mass-produced stuff. I want the best you got. Because if I'm going to a farmer's market, that's what I'm intending to pay for, is the good stuff. This would expand upon a California law that was enacted in 2018, allowing regulators to issue temporary cannabis event license in jurisdictions with local governments permits it. That was the policy change that allowed cannabis sales on-site consumption at the California State Fair for the first time this year. Under that policy, approved retailers could market their cannabis, whereas This latest legislation would extend that to small cultivators that receive the necessary license. Similar to California's bill that is waiting in the Senate floor considerations, New York lawmakers passed a measure in June that would make cannabis farmers market a permanent fixture on the state's cannabis market. I like that as well. We have one on each coast now. We can just fill in the middle, we'll be happy. The legislation could revive the cannabis growers showcase events that have been temporarily authorized but ended last year, authorizing regulators to continue issuing permits for the farmers market indefinitely. So right there is pretty much the rest of it. It just goes into a recap of other laws and things like that. But sounds like California is starting to turn the corner and maybe make this stuff normal, if you know what I mean.
2026 though, why are they waiting? Why did they say they're waiting? That's so far
there's not as much money in it for them.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's just a stall tactic, but they probably said that they need time to get the law straight or something like that. Unfortunately, anytime you do government, but anytime you have the government involved and they have to write laws and regulations, you know how that goes. They got to write it. Everybody's got to slip their personal favorite stuff inside of it, and
they should just look at what they require of the tomato sellers and be like, okay, we'll do that.
Pretty much, I would like that.
And then just be like, you have to be 21 to buy. Done.
Yeah, and we'll fence off this area over here, and you work over there. Done. Yeah.
Right.
So what's tough about that?
Exactly.
just like the wine sellers, isn't it? Just have to produce ID. You got ID, mate. Cheers. Yeah. That's it.
I don't know. I'm happy to see that they're actually looking at this. It hasn't happened yet. I'll be more happy when it actually happens. But the fact that somebody's actually looking at it now, that's a good start.
Yeah, it'd be good to see the model they come up with in the end, as such. Will they be asking the companies, like the small craft growers who are already producing anything, or are they just gonna jump in? Do you know any more than that?
That's all the article had into it, really.
Will this help craft growers, do you think, in California? Because it sounds like they're really under a lot of pressure.
Any time scale?
I'm not from California. We have a lot of members.
Yeah.
We have members in chat that are from California, and they could probably answer that question better. But from what I've been told, there's two kinds of growers. There's small growers that have extremely high quality that are doing just fine, and small growers that don't have that really high quality that are struggling. So if you're a craft grower producing fire and charging a fair price, from what I understand, you're doing okay. It's the craft growers that aren't producing the fire and maybe overcharging for what they're producing that are having trouble. Because those are the people that the big guys are going to really just rip you to pieces. You know, if you're producing mids, the big guy can produce mids cheaper than you can.
Right.
Yeah, that's where the craft guy, I think, will win in the end, because a lot of them can produce good quality, better quality, and that's where you're going to get slightly better price for it. And that's where I think the price was to become in the craft markets, if you get what I mean. That's where the market has settled at what the price of cannabis really is. If you know what I mean, what are you really prepared to pay for what weed? And that again depends on how much money you've got, then, doesn't it? So the richer you are, the more you're prepared to pay for something. So
yeah, and I really don't think that you're gonna find your average, what we would call in the States Joe six-pack that just wants to buy a small bag of weed for the weekend. Not really so much of a connoisseur, but she is not going to be that person going to the farmer's market looking for the weed. They'll drop into a dispensary and find out what the highest THC you got that's on sale, and they'll be happy with that. I think the farmer's market is going to be more for people like us that actually want to go down there and see what everybody else is producing. And then you're going to find that fire laying on the table there that you just got to have. One of those things.
Yeah.
I would be that guy. I would happily drop $50 for an eighth of fire weed down there if I knew it was fire.
Well, and also you have the experience of, like, oftentimes it's the growers that are there that are behind the booth, in the booth or whatever, right? So you're talking to the people who are growing it or directly involved with growing it too. So it's a lot different than being in a dispensary.
Yeah, for sure.
I would imagine. Anyway.
Also, as Monkey says, because you're a grower, you don't pay out for weed that often, so you don't mind paying, as you say, $50 for an eighth, because you ain't going to pay that $50 very often, and you know what you're getting is fire, because what you grow is fire. So you just try and you're sort of giving someone the acknowledgement that what they're growing as well. You're like, I don't mind giving you money, mate, because you deserve the $50 for what you've just produced, sort of thing. I know the effort it takes to get that, so that's worth that little extra, rather than the $30 sort of commercial stuff.
And I'm wondering, with this on-site consumption ability right there, could these vendors actually offer you small samples?
Oh yeah,
yeah, that'd be good. Open air would be probably the market then, because but indoor they may have to have a smoking section, I assume, because of the indoor requirements. But I don't know what the indoor smoking laws are in California, so it'd go on them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, here's a pinch of cannabis, put in your one hitter, and tell me what you think. You know, I like that.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
Hey, they do it over at breweries and wineries. You always get the sample, so why not cannabis?
So, quick question again: are they looking to bring that in and vote on that for the next election again? So, which is again within 80 odd days, isn't it? So,
I don't think that this is going to be an election thing like that. I think this is it'll be passed by the state legislature and go that way.
Yeah, but I'm saying they'll want all that done possibly before it all changes. So, would they put it through before? This is what I'm saying, before the voting begins, or because or everyone changes afterwards, so there's no point in putting something through.
It's already been passed, is it not?
I heard that it was just. I mean, I got from the article that it was
obviously it's California, so it's obviously going to say Democrat, and nothing's going to change that way anyway. But
it said it passed through the Senate. It didn't say that it's law. So passing it through the Senate is a good thing. So moving it forward, I'm hoping that it's going to go forward in a good way. We'll see.
Yeah, man.
California doesn't fight cannabis as much as the rest of the world does.
But it's one of them things, and it's like gradually changing, going through the steps that the countries or states that are getting legalized. They go through these stages from going to medical to recreational. Then you get consumption lounges. Then you're going to get the farmers market shit. I think it's a gradual process, the evolution of legalization in some way. I think. This is just the way it's going to go for everybody eventually. It's just California's way ahead of everybody else right now, by the look of things.
You're probably right.
It's good shit, man. We'll keep an eye on it, but anybody like in California, like need someone to come work for them and shit from the UK. He's funny, I'm a funny guy. I'll come over. You got a place working the farm over there. Be like, yeah, mate, you come work in this farm, man. You cool. We got dental. I broke a tooth this week. Maybe I won't get dental. But
they have lots of tumbleweeds, don't they, in California? So you don't worry about you. Yeah, so when you tell
collect
jokes,
those.
They can watch them. They can watch them go past, can't they? There you go.
Just carry one with me. Just tell a joke and throw it down the road.
There you go. People
are like, okay.
Yeah. So let me know, anybody. I like California. Nice place.
Never been there, but I heard it's a nice place.
I've seen it on the TV loads of times. You remember that that movie Wizard from back in the day, and he had oh man, you remember it, Billy? Come on, this is your time.
Nah, mate,
doesn't ring a bell.
Well, anyway, he's good at computer games. I think he goes to play Super Mario at the some convention, some gaming convention in California. No, come on.
Nope. Leave you hanging there, mate. You'll try. You're in your own universe here, your own simulation. Damn. I've simulated that, mate. I haven't got the update. I missed that update.
Man, what was it? Fred Savage was the name of the kid in it, right? I think that was his name. The kid from the Wonder Years. Yeah, he was at the Wonder Years. Yeah. He was in that movie. His little brother was autistic, but was really good at playing computer games, and he wanted to get to California to go and play in this World Championship playing games consoles, Nintendo. I think it was Super Mario 3. Come on, everybody, you got to remember that, right? Come on, somebody.
It sounds familiar, like
save me.
That's a dozen movie plots out there, man.
I reckon that's just a really good dream you had, Mackie. I reckon there. That's what I'm saying.
But then, spoiler alert, they're driving back after the tournament, and he sees a park full of dinosaurs, and he just starts screaming, "California, California!" That's how I imagine California to be. That excitable.
Full of dinosaurs.
Yeah, old dinosaurs. That's where the oil comes from, right? Anyway, right. What a random tangent.
Exactly. It's what we do.
Man, it's a good movie. Well, it's one of those movies that didn't really age well, but back in the day when you was a kid, it was a good movie. Back in the day. Definitely remember it. See, Rob Champ. Yes, Rob. Yes. Everybody hit that like button for Rob. Yeah, Fred had that Nintendo hand glove, I think. That's right, Rob. State of the art it was back in the day. you're missing out. You need to go watch that movie. Everybody, just search Google for Wizard Fred Savage. You'll
I don't
find
know.
it.
You just said it didn't age well, so I know what that means. That means you
Well,
have fond memories of a movie that you're gonna watch later and be like, "Man, this sucks."
Man, that pretty much
You're better with your
nails it,
memory.
Margaret. That nails it. Fucking
I
right on the
know.
head there. Done like,
I've
fuck.
done it so many times myself.
Yeah, like,
That's
oh,
such
that
a
was a
good
good
movie.
movie. Yeah,
Not.
no, wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go on to the next news article. How you feeling out there, Billy? Are you ready to cover something about airports?
Airports. What? Yep. What is it? Airstrip 1, isn't it?
That's right. Airstrip 1
Airstrip
is
1.
yeah.
Airstrip 1. Yep. There we go. So in Airstrip 1, hundreds of airline passengers are smuggling suitcases of cannabis into the UK, or Airstrip 1. Yep. So hundreds of airline passengers are brazenly arriving into the UK with suitcases full of cannabis without even trying to hide it, according to the National Crime Agency. So
I'm skeptical of that, right?
Yeah. Well, there is a picture of a suitcase full of just weed with like a towel thrown over.
Yeah, but
it.
when they're saying like brazenly, I'm expecting people with, like bags under their arms and shit just walking.
Yeah.
All right, mate.
That's
All right, mate. Yeah.
Isn't
What's
it?
this like green stuff here, mate? No, that's just
Oh.
my devil's lettuce. Don't worry about that, Gov.
Oregano.
It's oregano.
That's it.
Yeah, it's
Oregano.
Oregano, mate.
Oh,
this
that's
is
right. It's
England.
the UK,
Like, yeah,
oregano.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you
right.
go. You fucking say it properly.
For my tomatoes.
Exactly.
Yes, that's it.
Potatoes, tomatoes, oregano. You gotcha.
There you go. Right. So the agency's director, Graham Bigger, said cannabis remains the biggest single drug consumed in the UK. That's probably just ahead of cocaine, I would say, and then alcohol, or maybe a dual, alcohol and then cocaine. But I'm not surprised cannabis is bigger than alcohol now, I would reckon.
Mm-hmm.
What about coffee?
Just because, they don't include that on this sort of list, do they? It's not really a drug as far as they're
Say
concerned.
caffeine is a widely consumed drug.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So, but he said the law enforcement agency had noticed a significant increase in the last 2 years of airline passengers trying to bring both cannabis and cocaine into the country in their luggage. This year, officers have seized more than double the amount of cannabis confiscated in 23 from air passengers as they arrive. So, just people literally just walking off the plane with suitcases full of weed. In the terms of the overall supply in the UK, it's not really material. We've seized 12,000 kilos so far this year, which is quite a fucking lot, isn't it?
Yeah, man. That's 12 tons, right?
Yeah.
12, yeah.
Yeah.
That's half a
12,000?
trailer load, man. That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
And obviously that's a small amount of what's coming into the country, but for people just blatantly walking off the airplane, giving it, yeah, this is my suitcase. I always carry 4 bags with me.
Of cannabis.
Yeah. Well, it depends if you are on a Snoop tour or something.
It's like, Floyd Mayweather carries $1 million with him at all times. Snoop carries 4 bags of weed with him at all times.
Exactly. There you go. There's your excuse or your reason. However, the perception of the drug market would be when obtained from the countries where the drug is illegal and therefore it's better quality. I don't know about that. So Rob Jones, the NC Director of General Operations, said, what really worries us is the normalisation of cannabis in bags that have gone through very stringent security controls. He described as one flight which had had a suitcase containing 40 kilos of cannabis.
Damn.
So in December 2023, the NCA issued a warning of potentially drug smugglers after a series of cannabis seizures were made from passengers flying into Birmingham International Airport.
You know,
Well,
when it says there as well,
airport, isn't it? So
right? Well, he described one flight which a suitcase contained 40 kilograms of cannabis. That's gathering quite a bit of weight there. Do you have to declare that weight? Do you think you're hiding it? You know,
That's what I wanted to know. You paid overweight on a bag full of weed.
yeah, you can pay for that extra stuff online, can't you? Or there as extra weight anyway. You just pay for the weight because they add it as petrol. It's petrol costs basically. That's what the weight is. They pay more petrol, don't they? The heavier it is. So, but 9 people were arrested at the airport within 2 weeks, carrying between 15.
2 weeks.
Kilos. 2 weeks. So everyone have their spaz attack.
Yeah, sorry.
So they're all carrying between 15 and 40 kilos of cannabis in their suitcase over that 2-week period.
2 weeks.
Which is quite a lot, really, between 15 and 40, like 9 people over that 2-week period. Like, it's quite a lot, really.
Crazy, man. People are brave. I would never do something like that.
I'd be sweating bullets. Like, you'd tell like a mile away that I was doing something wrong.
You know, we're like that anyway. You know, when you come in through the airport, you're always like, I hope nobody's randomly stashed a couple of ounces of cocaine on me. You know, because these things do happen. But gosh, it's just scary. God damn. And to think they've actually got something, damn.
Yeah, people be worried in the camera sweating. You know, I haven't typed nothing. I have online. I shouldn't have said, have I? As they're coming through.
Yeah, you know, that's another thing you have to be careful of nowadays. Snare strip on. You know, careful what you say online, everybody. Man, but it's just it makes me wonder. It's like, is it even worth it? How big is a kilo of cannabis? That's
I suppose you could sort of
2.25 pounds. You know, that's it. But that's not that. I mean, to go to jail for 2.25 pounds of weed, you know.
You could fit quite a bit in a suitcase. Yeah, I can understand that because especially if it's like shrink wrapped.
I don't know, man, because I would say my average harvest, or you know, just over. I don't even weigh my weed anymore, but I know like it's over a pound, right? It's like 500 grams out of a 4x4 is what you get every harvest. Maybe more, maybe a little bit more, but let's just say 500 grams. So that's 2 of them, and that's quite a lot of space. You know, when I've got it all jarred up and shit. It takes up quite a bit of room when you have just 500 grams. So twice as much as that. That's a lot of space, man. It's a lot of space to take up.
Yeah, I mean, like, what, you got to take out your shoes or something?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think so. But yeah, I think technically there is no shoes.
Right.
It's just weed only.
Decisions were made, basically.
Yeah, decisions were made. Shoes or 10 kilos of weed.
Right.
I'll buy new shoes when I get home and sell this weed.
Basically, that's what they're deciding. Yeah, sell the weed, buy new shoes.
I just don't also see, like, even if you do manage to pull it off, how much are people even making off this kilo of weed anymore?
Yeah.
I guess it's still pretty expensive in some parts of the world, but.
Yeah, but I guess I was saying I don't think the profit's really there anymore for the risk. People feel like it is, obviously, because they're mugs, but it's like, I'm definitely going to sell it for £400 an ounce, like, because it's Californian, like Cali weed, so it's worth 800. So I suppose the profit's there to some mugs, but again, it's really not really worth the risk.
Worth it, is it, man? It's just not worth it at all.
Stupid.
Don't do it, anybody.
Easier to grow it, man.
And there's stories you hear as well from these drug smuggling gangs, just in case anybody thinks that this is a good idea at all, because it fucking isn't. But they'll like get 10 people and be, you go here, collect this shit for me, bring it back, I'll pay you this amount of money. You get a holiday, that kind of shit. But they've got some organization going on where they are involved with a couple of the people at the border check, and I'll be like, we'll give you one of these people if you let 9 through. So they get a bust and get somebody locked up, you know, to help with the stats and shit, while 9 people go through. And this is like the organized crime gangs and shit. They do things like that. So don't even bother getting involved. You don't know if they're just going to fuck you over and you're going to be that guy.
You could be the one. Yeah, you could be the one. And
they're going to get all their mates through while you're the guy who's going to get caught with the shit and locked up. Yeah, so just be careful out there, man. Seen something like that. I think it might have been in Banged Up Abroad. Remember that TV show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where just one guy was specifically set up. I think they were going through with gold, loads of gold. But anyway, random tangent. Just don't do it, everybody. Just grow cannabis at home. Grow your own homegrown at home, and you'll be fine. Don't mess around with any of this nonsense. Gosh. Right, so we have the return of a story which we covered. I don't know. This must have been like a year ago now. Can anybody remember when we covered this one about the woman killing the guy, her boyfriend, because of a bong hit?
I definitely remember the story, but I don't remember when.
I like asking those stoners when something happened. It's like,
yeah, very true, very true.
We know something did or didn't happen. That's about and like, we drift in between them stages. Like the exact moment is like, whoa.
Well,
man.
Let's just say the other day, because that could mean anything from last week to 20 years ago. All right.
There you go.
The other day we covered this story. Woman sorry for killing Man, I can't read. Did I drink that lemon or was it you, Billy? God damn.
Yeah, man.
Woman sorry for killing man during cannabis-induced psychosis. She's apologized, everybody. It's okay. It's okay.
So it was an oopsie.
Oops. I got a knife and I fell over numerous times and it just kept on bouncing.
Oh, what a knucklehead.
You're going to start getting these bouncy knives. But anyway, this is not funny. Bryn Spetcher stabbed a friend 108 times after smoking cannabis. There's 100.
She definitely smoked marijuana and not cannabis. That one. That's where I draw the line. Like she smoked marijuana and not cannabis. Like,
what did you say there, Margaret?
I said there's nothing funny about that. 108 times. That's insane.
Yeah, exactly. Insane. She was convicted of involuntary manslaughter, given probation.
Probation.
It's like... Yeah. But just to spell this name, because I'm probably butchering this name. It's probably not a really good time to use that word. I'm probably really badly mispronouncing this name. Spetcher. Spejjcher. Can you try pronouncing that word for us, please, Margaret?
I think you did pretty good. Spetcher?
Okay, Spedster.
Close enough, yeah.
Yeah, would you say...
Sounds like you're doing a Swedish porn movie.
I think it is. I think that's where I've seen the subtitles before.
There you go.
Anyway, yeah, let's move on with this. So, Spetcher now educates people on cannabis-induced psychosis. So she's gone from hitting the reefer, losing her mind temporarily, and stabbing somebody 108 times, to now being a public speaker on why you shouldn't stab people when you've smoked cannabis. It's like, what the actual fuck is going on? This is a simulation, man. This is not real world. This can't be. Anyway,
I think this is definitely the simulation now. I agree with that. After that's done it now.
Yeah, it's the only thing that makes sense. But we'll carry on here. We have California woman Bryn Spedster says she is so sorry after fatally stabbing a man during an episode of cannabis-induced psychosis in 2018.
She's fucking sorry, isn't she?
I bet. I don't know. She's fucking famous now.
Yeah, maybe she's not so sorry. She's got a job and she's famous. So, why'd she be sorry? Like, no, I'm glad I done it. It changed my life for a good way.
Is it? It's terrible to think of it like that, but you know, gosh. Anyway, there was no way I would have ever hurt him.
Okay.
But she stabbed him 108 times.
You
know, I wouldn't hurt him, but
no comment. Yeah, on that one.
Yeah.
Spetster said during an emotional Friday interview on News
emotional
Nation's
damage.
Banfield. Emotional. Yeah, so it seems like she had an interview on Friday on News Nation Banfield. So I don't know. That's the website we're reading this article from. So if you want to go check out that interview, I'm sure it's out there. She said, "I am just so sorry that he went through that pain." Is this real? Is this real? Is this fucking
this
satirical?
is the simulation, man. This is the simulation.
I get. What else do you say?
After taking several hits of weed via a bong, Spedster stabbed her friend Chad O'Melia 108 times. She later stabbed her dog and herself. Police say when they arrived, it took 4 shocks from a taser and 9 hits from a baton to wrestle the knife out of Spedster's hand. The incident was captured on body cam footage. I want to see that footage.
Yeah, I want to see that. That's some shit. There is. She looked like a tank or something. She's some sort of shot putter.
I want to know what kind of weed she was smoking. If it took all that to stop her, you know what I'm saying?
That sounds like more like something
PCP or something, man.
No. I was just thinking that. Yeah.
It's madness. It's madness. It carries on here. Spedger maintains she never knew what she was doing. I found out. This is in quotes. I found out that he passed. I didn't find out that he had passed until days later when I woke up from the hospital, Spedster said. Spedster was, I hate pronouncing this name. This just isn't working for me. It's not.
Just say she then.
The lady in question was later convicted of involuntary manslaughter. A judge sentenced her to 2 years probation and 100 hours of community service. Let me just say that again, everybody. Let me quickly just summarize what we've just read here. This lady, she smoked some cannabis. She stabbed somebody fatally. That means that she killed this person. And even worse, she stabbed the dog, in my opinion. That's even worse. But you know, she stabbed the guy 108 times, stabbed the dog, stabbed herself. And 2 years probation and 100 hours of community service.
What sort of community service? It's like she's gonna go tidy up around some granny's house or like feed their dog or something rather than stab it up.
No, you keep her away from the fucking dog. You know
what I mean? It's like community. Don't want the woman like that in the community, do you? Like
let me just and this is why I wanted to bring this article, right? Because we have had a guest on this show many times in the past where he recently got out of prison from potentially doing 3 years because he had possession of cannabis and was given some RSO, some cannabis oil, to a person who wanted it, wasn't forcing it on them. He just wanted to give them some medicine to help with their cancer treatment and was giving them some RSO. And you can go and listen to the interview with Gary Ouds. He was sent to prison. He went to prison for like 18 months or something. Got out early because of good behavior, because he's not a fucking criminal. And that man, he's done time, had time taken away from his family, his friends. His freedom has been taken off him. What for? For the possession of a fucking controlled substance when he was just trying to help somebody who voluntarily wanted it. But this woman stabs somebody and kills them. Stabs them 108 times, man. And she, it's not like she wants to argue that he was attacking me, so I had to defend myself. Nothing like that. It's like, oh yeah, I smoked a little bit too much weed and I killed him. Sorry. And now it's fucking okay. And now she gets fucking 2 years probation and 100 hours community service.
Slap on the wrist, yeah, for a violent crime.
What the actual fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty backwards.
Wow. And that's why, just the contrast in between, you know, the repercussions here for these different alleged crimes. Wow. You know.
Does make you wonder what the fuck's going on with some
It does,
judges
man. It does. Like, I thought the justice system was there to help us. You know, like, take the victims out of the process of prosecuting somebody because they could make well-informed decisions when they weren't emotionally involved, and they're supposed to apply the law and prosecute people accordingly without any emotion based on it. And then we end up with shit like this. Are we supposed to have faith in a justice system that does this?
I think we've lost all faith in the justice system.
That's probably the idea of why they do it.
Yeah.
That's why it's like this. Because they don't want us to have faith in the justice system.
Trying to remember a little bit about the original article. If I do remember, it wasn't just cannabis that she had consumed that day. It was alcohol and other drugs earlier, but cannabis was the last thing she consumed. So that's what they blamed the whole episode on.
Ridiculous.
Really?
It is.
Yeah. Well,
all the PCP she had for hours beforehand had nothing to do with it.
Probably
so
not.
just
not that she had nothing like that, but that's all allegedly. But again, like you say, they blame it on did she have cannabis? Like out of everything else, it's like, but it's blame that, not that she's a schizomentaloid.
Well, a lot of times with anything, you mix cannabis and things happen. You know, I mean, it's well known. Alcohol and cannabis can be mixed, but if you don't do it right, if you're not careful and you don't know what you're doing, it can get bad real fast. And that's just a simple one right there.
It's mad.
No, I don't like all the blaming. Any drug, whatever drug, it don't matter. Like, you're just a cunt. It's as simple as that. It's like you are or you aren't. It's very simple. Your actions say a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The drugs don't do the actions because it's like hundreds of thousands of people take that drug and don't do that action. So it's got fuck all to do with the drug. No matter what the people say, it's that person's state of mind and it's their fault. Fucking hold some responsibility.
Exactly.
Like Mackie said, she killed a dog as well later on. That's what gets me. It's like, it wasn't just him. It's like the dog later. It's like, well, how long later? Like, it's like 10 minutes later, an hour later, 2 hours later. There's a big later, isn't it? So it's like, doesn't put it, no justice.
Still smoke weed?
Yeah, good point. That is a very good point.
It's legal.
It didn't say she quit.
No. Fuck's sake, Margaret. That's a fucking scary way to end this one.
Now instead. It's okay, I don't smoke now. I just have edibles. Ha ha ha.
So let's wrap this one up. There's a little bit more to finish up. Here we have earlier this year, O'Malia's, that's the guy who she killed, his dad expressed frustration over the sentencing during an interview on Banfield. Every day I do think about Chad and his family and his friends, Spezia said. I'm so sorry for their unthinkable loss and immense pain they will endure forever. Spezia has seen multiple therapists since the killing and credits her family, friends, and faith for helping her deal with the trauma. She is now working with an organization to raise awareness about cannabis-induced psychosis and the harm that can come with it. What a hero. What a hero. What a beautiful turnaround at the end of the story there. Oh my
gosh.
That's
a lovely ending.
How brave.
Nice happy ending there.
Oh, isn't that beautiful to hear?
No comment.
Yeah, plus, no one knows what she looks like, so she could be your future girlfriend. How lovely.
Jeez. Scary thought there, man.
That's scary.
I'm taking it down.
Ooh. Anyway, thank you, justice system, for keeping us all safe. Let's move on to the next news article, and the final news article already. It's flying by. This one is for you, Margaret. What do we have from
Well, this
the
might
last
answer
article?
some of those unanswered questions from our article just a minute ago. But JD Vance claims that there's fentanyl in our marijuana bags that our teenagers are using.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. So, former President Donald Trump's vice president running mate, Senator JD Vance, that was quite an introduction.
Yeah,
is
that
claiming
goddamn, that's a difficult one. Well done, Margaret.
Really?
You did good.
Oh,
You
thank
did good.
Thank you. I'm a professional. Is claiming that quote unquote marijuana bags are being laced with fentanyl. And he says the Biden administration's border policies are making it so that youth, including his own kids, can't experiment with cannabis or other drugs without risking fatal overdoses.
Oh my God. Can we stop there and just look at that line? Kids can't experiment with drugs without risking fatal overdoses. Oh my gosh. Well, think about the children. They can't experiment safely.
I know.
Holy
You know what
crap.
might solve
That means regulation will help then, won't it?
Nah, nah. That never helps. But
No.
during a campaign event with the Milwaukee Police Association in Wisconsin on Friday, Vance said he spoke to a police officer who told him that, quote, we've got fentanyl in our marijuana bags that our teenagers are using, end quote, echoing a claim about laced cannabis that's been routinely contested by advocates and certain state regulators.
You see, so what I've heard here,
Mhm.
I don't know how correct I am because I read a lot of fucking news, man. But it's this fentanyl shit. It gets everywhere, and a tiny amount. I've seen police officers got a little bit on their gloves, some cash they counted, and they got in contact with their skin, and that sent them into like paralysis and nearly killed them. And this shit is strong, man, and many drug dealers out there who are dealing in more than just cannabis will be dealing with cocaine and fentanyl, different drugs. And there will be times when they handle cannabis in the bag. So they're not like, maybe it does intentionally happen, but I doubt it. But maybe there's unintentional contamination when drug dealers are selling numerous products. And there are cannabis bags going out there that do have fentanyl on them. And any amount, it's a really powerful drug. Any amount can prove deadly. So, how is JD Vance saying something wrong here? Or is he misinformed? I know it's extreme cases, but it does happen, right? It is
No,
a
I think
concern out
you have
there.
a point. Like I know somebody who was with the special forces, and he said the exact same thing. He's like, a lot of drug dealers are dealing with all kinds of different drugs, and they're not necessarily like, oh, we got to make sure that the fentanyl doesn't touch anything else. They're just trying to push out the product.
It's something that would concern me because when I was young, I experimented with lots of different drugs. But I think nowadays, and it's not so bad in the UK, we don't have that issue here yet, but I'm sure it's coming. But I know there's big deals with fentanyl in the USA right now. And compared to 30 years ago, let's say in the late 90s and early 90s, 80s, that sort of period, Let's say you could go out, you could take pills and you could take cocaine, and you'd know maybe it's contaminated with something, but it's very unlikely to kill you. You could take these things reasonably safe. But now, compared to then, drugs are contaminated with fentanyl often, and that's deadly. I would be a lot more afraid to experiment with cocaine now than I would have when I was a kid. I would think. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being older. It seems a lot more scary now than it used to because of the fentanyl crisis, right? Does that make sense? That
a little bit, but you said that one thing that had hit me the way you put it is that any quantity of fentanyl it could kill you, and well, I'd say small amounts could kill you, but I'm not going to put any quantity.
Yeah.
I think it's possible that maybe some of these police officers are saying we have fentanyl in our quote unquote marijuana bags. Maybe they're just getting a residue that, like you said, off the dealer's fingers on the outside of the bag, kind of stuff like that. But is there actually enough in the bags? Like, is there maybe a milligram in the bag somewhere? I don't really know. And just saying that it's testing for fentanyl on the bag or in the bag, that's gray area.
I don't
really
think
small amounts. It
doesn't
powerful.
happen, but to come out and have a whole statement about it is pretty sensationalist.
It is. I mean,
that's
where I'm heading.
Remember, he's a politician on the politician run at the minute for presidency, so he's going to use sensationalize as much as he possibly can, and they're going to
an election coming up or something, maybe.
I think so. Yeah. So obviously saying, I think a few days time, not many though, but
exactly.
Yeah. But again, it's politician speak, isn't it? That's all it is. It's not really. It's dragging one news story, then trying to make it into something. But again, it might be well, that just demands regulation and to sort your shit out rather than blame it on the drug itself.
Scary.
That means
scary.
That means society's broken down rather than the drug, because they use fentanyl for medical purposes. And cannabis. So it's like, well, how you get it, where you get it is the issue rather than what you, the drug itself.
I know that if we were seeing fentanyl overdoses and kids dying from fentanyl in cannabis right now, it would be all over the national news. I haven't seen it yet. So
no, I haven't heard a story like that. I don't think.
So I think Margaret is correct. This is sensationalism right here.
Yeah, because I'm not saying it doesn't happen or it hasn't happened, but it's not happening at the level he's suggesting it could be.
Right.
So if you are buying weed off the legacy market, know your grower.
Yeah, be your grower.
A lot of them
the growers better.
Other stuff. Yeah. If you can be the grower, that's always ideal, of course. But he goes on to say, this is a quote from JD Vance. Look, I'm the parent of 3 young kids. You just have to imagine his voice in your own mind. A 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. He said, we don't have to worry about this yet, but I'm certain, because kids are kids, that one day one of my kids is going to take something or do something that I don't want them to take, but I don't want that mistake to ruin their life. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Yeah, I want them to learn from it. I want their parents to be able to punish them. I don't want our kids to make mistakes on American streets and have it take their lives away from them, he said, suggesting that he recognizes when his children grow up, they may experiment with certain substances such as marijuana, but he's more concerned with potentially lethal contamination. Advocates would argue that a key reason to enact a regulatory framework for marijuana and other drugs that includes testing requirements and other safeguards to mitigate the risk of dangerous contaminants, but the GOP candidate did not draw that connection and continues to maintain opposition to cannabis legalization.
Right, so even though he said all that shit, he's still gonna be like, it should still be illegal though. You don't think it should be properly regulated and legalized?
Yeah, because that would eliminate a lot of those problems.
Has anyone ever gone to hospital for fentanyl overdosing from cannabis in a dispensary setting? No. Doesn't happen. I mean, problem solved. And it's out of the hands of kids as well.
Exactly.
Politicians' answer again. It's all political talk. So you got to expect that from these people. Really, they answer everything depending on what their backers tell them to. So it's expected, because pharma mafia are going to lose a lot of fucking money, aren't they? Really. So the cotton industry, the oil industry, not really so much anymore, but a lot of industries will suffer just because of hemp and cannabis to be freely used is freely used. Like,
so does it explain?
Strange enough, the concrete industry is under threat from hempcrete.
Is it?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, massively. And the amount of concrete what gets fucking used in society is fucking phenomenal.
It's a staggering amount. Actually, we actually
staggering amount. So you really don't understand that how much. Yeah, if you to think all the roadways and the bridges, the foundations, everything that's built.
Everything.
If everything was made from hempcrete, then it'd be far better. But the concrete money is
concrete
massive.
Sand to be made.
Yep. I think there's a few, but there's a few components which obviously make it expensive and obviously very unecological. So hemp can make hempcrete. It's just like so eco-friendly in many areas. On a stupid rant. There you go.
Tangent.
Well, back to the article for a minute. New York, we'll get off of concrete for a second. Back to cannabis. New York regulators have also worked to debunk what they say is the false narrative that cannabis is commonly contaminated with fentanyl, a misconception that remains widespread despite a lack of evidence, they said last October. Meanwhile, Vance, who was elected to Congress in 2022, doesn't have an extensive cannabis policy record, but his limited actions and comments on the issue indicate that he's aligned with Trump on one key issue. He backs the rights of states to set their own marijuana laws, and he's also indicated that he's against incarcerating people over low-level possession. So, I mean, I could go on with this article, but really what he's kind of spreading some of this misinformation and then also using that to maybe back up his thing like, oh, the states can just set their own marijuana laws, but then that means that federally nothing will change possibly.
Yeah, and that really doesn't work because if the states are setting their own cannabis laws, then you still have the cross-border issues.
And the banking issues, man. Banking needs to be fixed.
Yeah, it does.
Creates a lot of problems. Yeah, so come on, JD.
It seems like cannabis is becoming a pretty important thing for the bill this time around, and we're going to see what happens on November 5th. You know, it seems like both parties are going to have something to do with cannabis. Trump said he's going to be saying something soon regarding cannabis legislation. I don't know, Kamala Harris.
Well, I mean, in this particular instance, for once, think of the kids and legalize.
Yeah, it's the only thing that makes sense. We've seen that this kind of prohibition, it just doesn't work.
Right.
It causes more damage. It brings criminal gangs. It's ridiculous that they
and if he
haven't
doesn't
done
want to worry about
sooner.
his kids and ruin their lives because they accidentally ingested cannabis laced with fentanyl, then you need to legalize.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason they don't. They want it like that. That's my theory. That's how they want it. That's why they don't regulate it.
I'm not really expecting to see cannabis become a bigger campaign issue this time, unless the campaign starts getting a little bit, let's see, more of a runaway to one side than the other, and then I think cannabis will be thrown out as a little carrot dangled in front of the public and say, "Look over here," kind of thing. But right now, I think if it's close, both parties are going to keep their mouth shut about it. We'll find out. We'll find out soon, really soon, within the next few days, whether or not Harris actually has cannabis in her platform, because I'm sure if she does at the convention, will be mentioned.
When's the DNC? It's not long, is it?
No, it's this week.
Right. Okay.
Coming up. So yeah, it's we'll find out real fast whether or not cannabis is to be mentioned by the Democrats, and you know how that usually goes. If one party mentions it, the other one has to start talking about it too. So we'll figure it out.
Nice. Yeah, man. Let us know what you think in the comments, everybody. Let us know if you think the Democrats going to legalize, the Republicans going to legalize. Is nobody going to do it? Let us know what you think.
I have no clue myself, though. I'm not going to leave a comment.
Yes. Yeah, we'll see.
Can't leave RFK out of the building, though, can you? Really? He's got a quick go.
He's not going to win, though, is he? I mean,
he should get someone like. Be nice if he got like Last Prisoner project or something involved with himself.
But you think he's going to get a position in the cabinet? Is what you mean? It's not cabinet in the USA. What's the right word?
They have a cabinet. President has a cabinet. All the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Labor, Secretary, blah 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 blah. Secretary
administration. I'm thinking he's going to get a place in the Trump or the Kamala administration. We're going off on a tangent here.
Yeah, the administration is further. That opens it up to assistants and those kind of things like that too. So you say the administration,
Kamala was allegedly speaking to RFK and trying to get him to drop out and join her side, get a position in the cabinet.
He's approached both the Republicans and the Democrats for endorsements. I think he's floundering to the point to where he's trying anything at this point. But I don't think either side is wanting to work with him. They're basically wanting. He says, if you give me an endorsement, I'll give you an endorsement. Well, who? What good does that do? You know.
He's not going to drop out of the race, so it's just going to be on the ticket. And then when he loses event to whatever one, then they've got to decide if they want him as one of their associates or not.
He only becomes important if the race becomes really, really, really tight. And it's tight now, but in 80 days it could open up one way or the other, and he may be just completely irrelevant at that point.
Both sides won't, but neither side will admit the other side are winning either. So it's fucked either way. It's like no matter what, we're gonna wait until like D-Day, like, and that will be like mental or vote day.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. November 5th, man. Remember the 5th of November.
Yeah, you fucking will this year. I tell you that.
But anyway, we'll find out by next podcast whether or not the Democrats have officially put cannabis on their platform.
Nice, and we'll keep you all informed, everybody. We'll let you know what they say. But is there any forum news to add here? I don't think we have anything from the forum. Just, regular competitions you can enter, everybody.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and mention Mackey's monthly giveaway this week is tied to an entry in Percy's Plant of the Month, and we're starting to get a few entries in. So finally, they're coming in. But yeah, you can enter it in any plant at any stage, from germination all the way to just before harvest. Doesn't make any difference, and you will be put into a. I think we're doing a snail race for a pretty good prize. Actually, the prize for the snail race is better than the prize for winning Plant of the Month. So
that's right.
Just entering gets you a chance at a better prize.
And how much is it to sign up and enter into this competition?
Oh, geez, I forgot. Billy, how much was it?
What? How much was what?
I'm signing up to Percy's and entering the competition. I think the lemons kicked in.
Yeah. What was that? What's the lemon? Yeah. No, I think it's free, man. Or you might have to take a dose of mushrooms or something. I'm not sure. One or the other.
An initiation or something.
Or you take a dose of mushrooms. I'm unsure. You have to decide that yourself when you click the button.
Do both.
It could be free, but if you want to do both, you can. But
maybe
do both just to be sure.
Yeah, maybe do.
The only requirement is that you click the button. Other than that, you do what you want.
I tell you what, having some dude with a mushroom head pop up and talking at you while you're fucking on mushrooms is a bit weird.
Yeah. Right then, so nice. And nothing else to add really. We just got Marco on Thursday, or he's going to come in for an interview. So join us for that, everybody. Well, for the Patreons. And of course, if you wanted to become a Patreon, just head over to patreon.com/Percy'sGrowroom. Blah, 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 blah. But I think that's everything. Are we ready for a smoke break?
Yeah.
I think so.
Let's
do it. Smoke break time. How's that lemon doing then, Billy? How's that going? Is it kicking in?
Yeah, man, the lemon's going really good, actually. Like I said, having your head pop up now and again, like ranting at me, it's like, whoa, yeah.
Man, I went to my friend's the other day. I took 2 grams of mushrooms with me. I didn't take 2 grams of mushrooms. That would be fucking crazy. And we made some lemon tech. I had about a quarter, so about half a gram, and he did 1.5 gram. This guy was mashed. He was. I mean, I was pretty mashed. But the good thing about lemon tech is it comes up after about 15 minutes. Lasts for 3 hours maybe, and then it's gone. Yeah. And then it's gone. Then you're back to normal. But
I had 1.2 grams, I think.
Nice. Yeah, you're gonna be pretty mashed then, Billy. Yeah.
Definitely. Nice. I like that the lemon tech is nice. Like you said, you can almost set your watch by it. And I'm surprised because I told somebody who'd been growing mushrooms for decades about this stuff, and she didn't have any clue about lemon tech. She's like, "Well, what are you talking about?" Like, "Oh, really? Okay." So yeah, spread it around.
Yeah, lemon tech's the shit, man. I love it now. That's because I like mushrooms, but I hate eating them. But the lemon tech has changed the game completely.
This is my first time of lemoning out, man.
And it's good, isn't it? You like it?
Yeah, so far, so good.
Man. Yeah. I'm just gonna go grab a beverage. I'll be back in a second.
Slide right on out. Perfect. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, I'll be right back too.
No problem. I'll stay here for a while. Let me get this vaporizer running here. Fill this bag.
It's Me and you then, Monkey Man. What you vaping? So describe what
This-
you're vaping.
This is the Nakatomi Plaza. Is all it is
Oh,
right now.
cool.
I was sipping on a little bit of hash earlier, and now we'll switch over to a vaporizer for a while.
What hash then? You mentioned hash. Where did that come from? And where
It's
did
hash that I made, but this has been aging now for a few years. Chilbert, he told me back when I had a decent yield that I should put some away, and I didn't think I could because we were consuming it too fast. But evidently, I'm pretty good at hiding stuff because I did find a good sized chunk of it that I had put away. So it's been sitting now for over 3 years, and
wow.
it's when I opened it up, it softened and got nice and creamy, and it's beautiful texture right now. So, and it definitely has changed the flavor, but it's just the zombie hash that I had made from trim. I think I had thrown some live in there from at the time, some fresh frozen. So it was a little bit of everything in it back in the day, and it just came out with like 20, 30 some odd grams of it, just on a quick wash.
Do you find it's a bit of a muscle relaxant type hash?
This is actually kind of energetic. It's actually it's relaxing, but it's more up. Gives me a little bit of energy, keeps me going. So I guess most of
the high THC kind of just give you that bit of a kick.
Yeah, definitely the high THC stuff.
Cool.
But so really, I don't really save. I only save the good trim to make my hash with, Billy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do the same as me, exactly the same way, like in a way.
If there's not enough trichomes on it, it's going to give me just too much material. It's not worth my trouble. So
yeah, we don't really need you at the minute. We're talking about hash meat. Like,
yeah. All right, fine. Fuck you. I don't know.
Mackie didn't have any. That's what I say.
I can make some.
Right
yeah,
now.
exactly.
But not right now. I can't make any.
Yeah, so shush.
Yeah, it's like I got
Sorry, Billy. Carry on.
Right now,
I'll just mute myself and sit here.
Yeah, Monkey was describing his lovely tasty hash to us, and you come and interrupted, nah.
Just letting you know I was back, bro. So
yeah, but it's just finished anyway, so it's good timing in a way.
Yeah, I need to make more hash. I don't make enough hash, man. But maybe I should make some.
I think everyone should make hash. What you should have a hash Sunday. The first Sunday, or the first Sunday of the month should be a hash Sunday, and then you make hash.
No, that's a lot of hash. That is.
I'm gonna have to try to make a hash run soon, but it's so darn hot here, and I really like to do hash in cooler weather. But geez, how much ice would I use doing it in 30 degrees?
That's why I like
30
using dry sift. Dry sift in the summer ain't so bad.
Just in cherished rosin.
Use your dry sift.
You see cherished rosin in the chat there? Old friend loaded bowl of dried mushrooms back in the day and puked. Oh, no doubt. Oh my god.
Well, when we had interviewed, what was it, the Oxford Psychedelic Society or something like that, they had talked about smoking shrooms too.
Ugh.
I didn't know you could do that. I guess you can. Well, it might make you puke though.
Depends upon the ones you smoke, and I guess you have to know how much to smoke. But I do remember him mention, because we were talking about your avatar, Mackie, and he looked at that mushroom and he says, "Well, yeah, that's when your best smoke to avoid the alkaloids."
Oh wow!
Just stupid people do stupid things, man.
Just smoke weed, everybody. There's no need to smoke anything else, man. Just smoke weed.
Learn the lemon check trick for your mushrooms. You'll love it.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
That was a lot of ego and bravado, and it's like, oh, look what I can do. I can bong a load of mushrooms, like I'm hard, sort of thing.
Sounds like a little bit of a bro dare,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, dude, man, dude.
Do you need to go get a drink, Monkey?
No, I come prepared. All of my drinks are with me when I get here.
Cool. Are you good, Billy? You need to get a drink or anything?
I am. I'm gonna pop downstairs and get a quick water.
I think it might be best it might be just best to sit still, Billy, because once you move, you're gonna realize how fucked you are once you move. You know.
Yeah, you're probably pretty well maxed out about now. You're about the right time frame for being.
So if I'm not back in 5 minutes, then
call an ambulance.
Well, no, I'll start laughing. Start laughing and then making up stories. So
that won't happen too.
Yeah, so that'll get me back quicker because I know you're starting to talk stories about me, and I won't like that because I won't be here to hear them. Well, even though
everybody in chat, start writing things about Billy while he's gone.
Yeah, write Billy's origin story in the chat.
Billy will be right back. He has to go get a few more socks. You know,
I can still hear you. So
I know you can. It's all right.
I smoked shrooms at Glastonbury in the 80s. Tastes like a sock, and I passed out, woke up, trampled, and my mates had left me. That's lame. That's unlucky, bro. Fuck. Why is Billy in my kitchen?
The chat's now getting going there a little bit.
Yeah, I had a nice mushroom session this week. It was fun, man. It was fun. This shit hits you hard. Because I got the penis envy mushrooms, and they're strong, man. So strong.
How do they differ from like your regular golden teacher or whatever?
They just have like 50% more psilocybin in them.
Oh, they're that much stronger, eh?
Yeah, depending on the strain. They and they grow a little bit slower. I find like there's 2 weeks actually, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 week difference I would say between golden teachers and the penis envies. But I don't know. It's just. I mean, you're never going to take all of that. It's so easy to grow. You get so many. You only need a small bit to get high. So really, it's just cool to say, yo, I've got penis envies. The strongest cubensis.
Yeah, I've heard that the albinos are the ones you really want to get, the strong ones.
Yeah, I've
I'm
seen
not sure
that.
if that's true.
Yeah. But they're like apparently really difficult to grow.
I know somebody who's trying, and that's what I'm being told. Yes, they're slow taking off, really slow.
It's good. Yeah, ghost penis envy. Rev in the chat said there. Yeah, it's good fun, man.
Yep,
that's good fun.
Yep, those them albinos.
It's a nice hobby as well.
Mm-hmm.
You've done it before,
Yeah,
haven't
they're
you,
fun to
Margaret?
grow.
Yeah.
What's that?
You've done it before. You've grown mushrooms.
Yeah, a few times.
Cool.
Just
good fun.
just golden teachers, but they were fun to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I survived the darkness.
He's back. Okay, now we were just about to go about. You went about 20 minutes or something. Gosh.
No, you were gone forever.
Yeah,
Did you
man.
bring us
yeah,
all snacks? Yeah.
I tell you, man, when it's all dark down there, and then you like see the light of the fridge open up, and you're like, oh yeah, I'll grab a drink. Then you close, the door, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
Because there's darkness again, and then you can't see, and there's just a flash of like colours and everything. You're like, shit.
Shit, these mushrooms are kicking in.
Where do I tread? Where do I tread? There's a table there somewhere, so you're like putting your arms out, and you're like, yeah, man.
Are you sure it was your kitchen?
That's what I wasn't sure. When you close the door, you're like, you don't know where you are again. You're like, shit. I knew I was in the kitchen because there's a fridge. Right, the door closes, and you're like, whoa, where am I again?
Oh wow.
I survived the darkness.
Yeah, man. It's you must be getting pretty high by now.
Just a little bit.
So has everybody got everything they need? Are we good to move on to the grow guides?
I think we should.
I think so.
Let's do it then. Let's go. So, we are on episode 7 of the Grow Guides, and so far we have taken you from knowing absolutely nothing about growing cannabis up until the point where you can actually start your grow. By now you should have been able to figure out how many plants you're going to grow, what medium you're going to grow them in, what nutrients you're going to use, what size grow tent to have, with which light, which extractor. Everything is figured out. Should be all laid there out in front of you, and you're ready to grow some cannabis. So now we're going to take those seeds which you decided to get, whether they were autoflowers or photo period. We covered that as well a few episodes ago. And again, if this is the first episode you're listening to, go back and listen to the start of the series, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're on 7 now. And we're just about to germinate some seeds and actually get the growth started. Exciting times, man. Everybody remembers their first time, right? Do you remember the first time you popped some beans, Monkey?
Yes, I do. They were pineapple chunk. I do absolutely remember exactly. Didn't go so. I mean, germinating was fine, but that grow didn't go perfectly. It was my first time.
Yeah, do they ever? Even 10 times in, it never goes perfect. You know.
But I ended up with weed at the end, and that was the important bit. You know. So yeah, I was happy, and I kept on doing it.
It was the start of an important journey.
That's right.
Definitely.
What about you, Billy? What was your first one? What's the first beans you popped?
Passion number 1. actually.
Oh, from Dutch Passion.
From Dutch Passion, yeah, and just because I wanted to choose something like original from something, if you know what I mean, it's a bit iconic.
Yeah. What about you, Marge? Margaret, sorry.
Oh, fuck. If I'm being honest, I don't remember. You
Make
guys are like,
something
I
up. No,
remember
it's good.
exactly the day like it was just yesterday. I'm like, I have no idea.
It's a guy thing, I think, you know.
Yeah, maybe. For me, it was an Exodus cheese. Way back in the day. Jesus, it's so long ago, man. So long ago. Good
No, I'm
times.
talking about the first tent grow that I had. You know, other than that, I had played
Yeah,
around back in the day, just like throwing bag seed in the dirt kind of stuff. But no, nothing serious before that.
I've been growing for like 13 years now or something. It's just crazy to think about it. And only taking a few breaks in between that. It's been mostly, the tents up, growing something. That's a lot of fucking plants, man. Damn. But congratulations to all of those who are just about to germinate their first cannabis seed and start their first grow. It's going to be, hopefully, it's going to be a lifelong hobby for any of you guys who are just about to start that, because this is one of the best hobbies that there is. So, germinating a cannabis seed, where do we even begin? What is germinating a cannabis seed? Do you want to explain that, Margaret? Do you want to explain that whole process there?
The whole process on germinating seeds.
Well, not all of it, but some of it, because we'll pass it round,
I mean, you got to get the little tail of the seed to come out so it goes in the soil. So it's like the little taproot, isn't it?
It is.
And you need to get those. I mean, I guess you could plant them right in the soil if you wanted, but you're going to have a lot more success if you get those little seeds to crack open and that little taproot to start to come out, which is basically what you're doing when you're germinating.
Yeah, that's it. It's like simulating nature, isn't it? At the springtime, when humidity starts to rise and it starts to rain more, it's not so cold. This is out in the natural habitat of a cannabis plant, by the way. The seeds get wet and they crack open, and like Marge says, a taproot will grow out of them, which is just a small little white root, and that'll grow into the ground and spread out as much as possible to grow a big cannabis plant at the top. That takes a while. It doesn't take a couple of days for it to grow through cannabis plant, this is just the germination stage. And you're just essentially trying to imitate that when you're indoors, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Nice and easy. So what's the first thing you do? You're going to get these cannabis seeds. They'll come in the post, like we explained in a previous episode. And they'll just be like these little brown oval-shaped things. They're very tiny. So what is your favorite technique for germinating cannabis seeds, Monkey? How do you do yours? How'd you go from having yours from the seed in the packet into the medium? What is your whole process?
Favorite method? Oh my gosh, see, that's the problem. I've done I've done everything but one method that I'm not comfortable with. But I think if I have to say my favorite method today is I germinate in Jiffy Pucks or cocoa in solo cups, because once they germinate, I'm already in a small pot. I don't have to do any potting up or repotting for the first few weeks, and I can grow them out in solo cups and then move them into the next phase. So I put the seeds directly into the solo cup media, and put humidity domes on them. Actually, where I like to put my seedling, those cups, is on top of my HLG lights, because it's just warm enough in the top of my tent to give the temp. That 80-degree temperature during the day is perfect for germination. So it works really well. That's my favorite way. Solo cups on top of my light in my grow tent.
Nice. What about you, Billy? How do you germinate your seeds?
I put mine in like little plastic water cups, so just drop them in, leave them in there for 48 hours, like 2 days.
But just the seed, no medium, just seed into some water in a little plastic cup.
Seed into water, and then after 24 hours, you press them down, and they fall down, and then after 24 hours again, you get a little root come out. Then I whack that into tissue.
Right. Okay, so you put it in the water until the taproot comes out, and when the taproot comes out, you put it into tissue after that. Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's the one I'm afraid of, because I've always been told not to drown your seeds, and so I've always refused. I'll soak them for maybe a little while before I plant them, but I've never let one germinate intentionally in the water. But I know a lot of people do it all the time.
I do it all the time. And like some of them I've left in there for like over the weekend and forgot, and they've just grown really long. In fact, I've left some in there that are just grown and then pop the shell, and you get like the two original little leaves come out. And I've just whacked that in soil, and then it got some sun and grew and turned into a plant.
Beautiful.
So,
yeah. What about you, Margaret? What's your technique for germinating cannabis seeds?
I usually just do it in the cup of water as well.
The same as Billy, and you wait for the taproot to come out while it's still in the water.
Yep.
Okay, and then you move it into the medium after that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty easy. I mean, do you just?
Way?
Oh, well, my way is also pretty much kind of the same. I'll take a plastic cup, I'll fill it with some water, just tap water, not pH or anything like that. I'll drop the seeds in it. Depending on how I'm feeling on the day, it could be anything for 4 hours up till like 12 hours, not like on the next morning or something. But I'll leave them to soak in just water for a certain amount of time, just to try and soften the shell on the outside of the seed, to just give it more chance of that taproot pushing out easily. So once that's done, I'll prepare my cocoa, because I grow in cocoa, and I'll prepare the cocoa as if the seedling was already growing in it. So, a small EC with some can of A and B, and pH at 5.8. I'd water the cocoa without seeds being in it. I just water it to make sure that it's ready, so it's perfect for them. And then after it's been soaked for, say, 8 hours, the seed in the water, I'll take the seeds out of the water and put them into the cocoa. And I'll bury them like 0.5 centimeter deep, real low, real high up. If you plant it too deep, I find that sometimes they can struggle to make their way all the way out. If you're planting like an inch or something like that, that's far too far. 1 centimeter maximum, I would say. You can always add more cocoa or soil afterwards. Don't plant them too deep. Just give them. You don't want them to work too hard when they're young, So anyway, I'll plant it 0.5 centimeter deep, and then I'll put the plastic cup which it was in when it had the water. I'll put that upside down over the top of it and bury it down just like 0.5 centimeter as well, just to make sure that it's proper locked in and the moisture can't get out. Then it's like a good humidity dome over the top of the seed, and then just wait for like 2 days, 3 days sometimes, and seed pop, man, every time. That's been the most successful method I've used for germinating cannabis seeds. It makes it so fucking easy. It's very, very rare that I have a failure. There's times when I do. It's like after the seed has popped out and the taproot's grown and the seedlings have popped out the top, because it isn't planted very deep. You do get that problem of, if you water too quickly, then you can disturb, like I explained in last week's episode, I briefly mentioned it, how you can flood the cocoa and it will make the seed float, and that damages the taproot and that can kill it. So you just have to be careful with that. Yeah, but that's further on after the germination. But yeah, that's my technique.
Yep, that's basic, very similar. I'm just using a smaller pot, but almost the same technique you're using there.
It's reliable. Like I say, I've tried many different ways of doing it, and this is just the way that consistently works for me. So
we don't have to handle the taproot when we do it that way.
Yeah, that's what, because I've had it before. I've done used to do the paper towel method, and if anybody doesn't know, we'll quickly explain what that is. That's what lots of people used to do. Is you'd get a paper towel on a saucer with some water on it, just so it's damp a little bit. You put your seeds on top of the paper towel, cover it with another damp paper towel, and only damp. You don't want it dripping. You don't want it running with water. You want it just dripping a little. Don't make it too much. And then you'll cover that with cling film or saran wrap if you're in the USA. I think that's what it's called, right? And that will lock in the moisture. And then you just put it somewhere warm, and not too warm. You don't want it being too hot, because if it gets too hot, it can kill the seeds as well. Don't let the paper towels dry out, but within 24 to 48 hours, you should be seeing a root coming out of those seeds, and that's when you can plant them into the medium. That's the paper towel method. And I used to use that, and I've had taproots come out, and then them get damaged when I'm planting them, because you have to be real delicate with them. So I just find the best way to do it is to remove that whole process of dealing with the seed when it's at a delicate stage like that. Get it in the medium as soon as possible, and you're less likely to break the root. Billy and Marge work fine with that. So there's so many, as we say, there's lots of ways to go swimming with a cat, isn't there? Yeah, and like just one really, I think.
I just like that phrase. There's lots of ways to swim with a cat.
Well, we've swung cats, we've swimming with cats. We're gonna sing with them next. Watch.
Right. So then, let's just recommend to a new grower what technique to use. Then I'm sure you would recommend your version of doing things, right, Margaret? Where you just put a seed in the water and wait for 48 hours, maybe?
Yeah, until I start to see something popping out.
And you're growing in soil. You usually grow in soil, right?
Yeah.
Do you take the seedling then and plant it straight into the soil, or do you use something in between?
No, well, usually I plant it right in the soil, although this
Mm-hmm.
summer I had very little success with any of it, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, because soil's
But usually
usually strong, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
I
but
don't.
I've never had a problem with it before until this year,
Mm.
but I don't know.
And what about you, Billy? Because you grow in soil as well, don't you, Billy? You grow in living soil. What's your process from taking it where it's been in the water in the cup and it's sprouted the taproot? What do you do with it then?
Well, after the tissue method, like I
Right, yeah.
basically, yeah.
The tissue method, Billy.
Nah. Right, after everyone stopped laughing, then
I
basically,
laugh, to be fair, mate. No,
yeah. Well, I'm talking about all the chankers in chat rubbing their thighs at that one out there. So basically, I just whack it into 2 parts, the Jiffy Pucks. So I take 2 of them and then mix a little bit of living soil with it, and then that's like the top puck bit, which goes then into the top of the actual all the medium. So they grow from that outwards. So that it's like it's a little loosened version, really, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a good way, because if you plant directly into strong soil, it can kill the seedling. It can shock the taproots, isn't it?
Yeah, basically it'd be too strong for it. And so what I'm starting to do now is do that, and it seems to work really fine now.
Yeah, man. What about you, Monkey? What's your technique from going from when the taproot spits out to going into the cocoa?
If I have to do it that way, got a crazy process that I'm going to use, a paper towel method. Just like Becky had said earlier, with the paper towel being just damp, not wringing wet at all, no dripping. Put that in a Ziploc bag, but I like to hang that Ziploc bag, take a clothespin and hang it vertically on the outside of my tent. And that way, when the seed pops, the taproot will go straight down to the ground. So when I open up that bag and take it out, I've got a dead straight taproot. So all I have to do is poke a hole, drop it straight down, seal up the cocoa or the whatever it happens to be, and I'm good to go. It just makes it super easy. And it's just the trick is if the seedling has a way for that taproot to drop down, gravity will pull it straight. So it's kind of a hack that I've used, and I've seen a few people over at the site use that hack as well. It's just simple.
Yeah, man, and it's good to explain the different ways that we do things, because I'm sure as a new grower, remember them days when you'd go and read all these different guides and you would think that if you didn't do it this specific way, the seed was going to die. And it's not the case. There's so many different ways to do this shit. Essentially what you're doing is just soaking the seed. I think we all collectively agree that it's good once you take the seed out of the packaging to soak it for a few hours, right?
Yeah, I usually soak it, put it in like a small cup, and then when I tap it with my finger, if it sinks, it's ready. Good. If it floats, just wait a while.
Just give it a little tap. Yeah. See what happens.
You got to break the surface tensions. All I'm doing.
That's right, and it could just take a few hours, but overnight is good, because then you know that it's going to soften up the shell enough to let that taproot push its way out. But once you've done that, you can just either plant it in the medium or do the paper towel method. That's up to you, right? And Billy, how you do your paper towel? Don't get fucking rude with it, all right?
Okay. I just soak it in water and then fold it in half, really, and then just leave it pressed into a container, basically.
A little Tupperware tub or something airtight.
Yeah, I use a Tupperware tub, and then put it in the cupboard.
Man, I remember in the early days of me learning how to grow, I'd like keep I've read things like put it in cotton wool, leave it in your pocket because it's super warm, put it in a bag, and all this crazy shit that they go on about, man. I wasted seeds doing that. Yeah.
No,
don't do that, everybody.
Got a little bit of moisture, leave it in room temperature long enough, they usually sprout.
And that's it.
Very simple.
unless it's like winter time and it's very cold, looking like below 5 degrees Celsius. If you're just in your house and you're comfortable in the room you're in, that's warm enough to germinate seeds. You don't need to fuck around doing anything else. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Now, should we talk? Let's talk about some pitfalls, because we have seen many people come to Percy's that are having trouble getting seeds to germinate. What can you do that actually can harm your seeds more than help them? And one of the things you mentioned already is planting into too hot of a soil. Like like a fully energized super soil is not conducive for a seedling. So if you plant your seed in there, as soon as the taproot comes out and hits that hot soil, it's going to burn the taproot. If it ever breaks the soil, it's going to be weak and die real fast. So don't do that. It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And actual temperature as well, because you don't need to actually cook the seed, literally.
Yeah, heat mats. We've seen heat mats cook seeds over at Percy's. Or
I went for that stage as well. I got a heated propagator.
Yeah,
you know, one of those. Yeah, and they just killed every fucking seed I had. I thought it was going to help, it just killed it. And like, really, just keep it fucking simple, man. Keep it, just make it simple as fuck. Just leave it sitting on a desk somewhere in fucking wet and warm, and it'd be fine.
Yeah. Other things that'll kill your seedlings is keeping them too wet for too long. If you put them in the media and keep that media soaking wet, the roots can't breathe, the plant gets weak, and it will die.
And you don't want to plant them too deep either, because I've definitely done that before.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, it's like Mackie has been saying all along, germinating a seed is a very simple process, but if you overthink it, that's when you end up having problems.
Yeah.
Paper towel method. Yeah, too much water on your paper towels and your seeds will rot before they pop.
Not enough water on the paper towels and the seeds will dry out and die.
Yes.
You know.
And the paper towel, to me, it's what I do is I get it all wet and then I kind of wring it out to where it's okay. Now, when I sort of kind of squeeze it, I get no droplets out of it, but it feels good and moist still. And that, to me, is a perfect way of explaining it to you. You don't want it dripping at any point when you put your seeds in
moist.
it. Yes. Moist, just moist. Moist, but not wet. Moist. There you go, Mackie. There's your soundbite. Moist.
It's just, you know, it's the only time you've ever really sounded like a New Yorker and Al Capone. It's moist, sonny. It's moist.
Moist, not wet.
A different accent. That's what it was.
Yeah, man.
Anyway,
reverting to some old things. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit. But yeah. So where are we now? We've gone from.
We're getting the seeds
moist.
Yeah, moist.
Yeah, completely distracted there.
We were talking about things that make your seeds not work, things that make them fail. Old seeds, bad source of seeds. You know, the seeds are stored wrong, improperly,
poorly shipped as well.
Poorly shipped, or from a bad supplier. And that we always recommend good reputable seeds. That can give you big trouble, big aggravation trying to germinate bad seeds. Think you're doing something wrong and the seeds are bad.
And this is why people would
also just because nature's a bastard. Just because nature's a bastard
sometimes they don't work. Yeah. And this is why people used the paper towel method back in the day, because it used to be the most reliable way of germinating cannabis seeds. They'll just the seeds would just crap. 50% of them wouldn't even germinate in the first place. You know, so instead of preparing all the pots and planting things in pots when it was not necessary for that, then you'd lay them all out on a paper towel, cover them up, and let them germinate on the paper towel, so you could see which ones popped and which ones didn't. So you could plant the ones that popped and throw away the ones that didn't. But nowadays, if you're buying seeds from a normal seed bank, they're pretty much all reliable seeds. They're all going to pop if you germinate them properly. It's very, very rare you come across duds. When we were speaking to Max a few weeks ago, he says there's people, Royal Queen Seeds, who are hired specifically to just germinate seeds and make sure that they can still be germinated. And once they get to a certain percentage of seeds not popping, they get rid of the whole line. So the seeds you're buying from seed banks are reliable as fuck. They should all pop as long as you've germinated them properly.
Yeah, well said. I've also, has anyone ever had, I mean, sometimes when I first started doing this, I stressed about how should I plant the seed? I don't know, because it's a pretty big seed, thinking like, there must be a right way and a wrong way to do it. I found the wrong way to do it, though. You plant a seed upside down. Sometimes you'll see the taproot actually pop out the ground on it. I've seen it more than once.
Mm-hmm.
And then try to flip itself around and get its head out of the, get the, do everything and recover. And I've found that frequently when I do that, it doesn't make it. There's not enough energy for that seed to turn itself around and get out of the ground that way. So I've had the best luck, reliability wise, planting all seeds sideways. It's very simple. Just plant them sideways. They always come up, and I get fewer helmet heads because of it.
Mm-hmm.
The helmet head is something that we haven't talked about yet. Sometimes when you germinate a seed, it comes up and the shell doesn't want to pop off the first set of leaves, called the cotyledons. So when that happens, we sometimes refer to it as a helmet head, but yeah, it's just, the shell can be a problem. But if you plant, I find at least, if you plant the seed sideways, as it's coming up, that the sprout has to do a 90-degree turn to get out. And because it does that, most of the time, it pulls that shell clean off every time. I've had to remove almost 0 helmet heads since I started planting sideward seeds. And before I had to do it all the time, but
Okay.
So,
Sideways, you're putting the, sorry, did you say you're putting the taproot in sideways?
no, I'm putting the seed inside. See, I don't have it. The taproot doesn't exist when I put it in
Oh, right.
medium my way, but I just plant the seed sideways so that when the taproot comes, it goes down. But the cotyledons actually have to make a 90-degree turn. But when it makes that 90-degree turn and that seed shell is cracked, it drags the shell right off of it, leaves the shell mostly in the ground, and everything comes up beautifully. It just, if you look at the way the seeds are made, if you throw them on the table, how do they land? Sideways. That's the way nature intended it.
Yeah, so you've soaked the seed, you've placed it in the paper towel if you wanted to, or you might have even just left it in the water until the taproot pops out, whichever way you've decided to go with there. Then you're going to place it into your medium. Now, if you're going in cocoa or hydroponic medium like rock wool or clay pellets and things like that, then you should be able to just plant straight into your medium. But if you're growing in a super soil or a living soil, that might be strong because it has a bit too many nutrients in it for a small plant. Then use a potting mix maybe. You can use the Jiffy pellets, like Billy said, a couple of those mixed with cocoa, just to make sure there's not too many nutrients in it. And then that will be able to feed your seedling for a week or so we can get a nice root base without being shocked by the strength of the soil that it's been planted in. So bear those things in mind as well when you're going from your seedling into your medium. But once it's in the medium, you put a cover over that, like a plastic cup is always good. A clear one is good because then you'll be able to look into it without disturbing it to know when the thing is shot above the soil, and it should only take a couple of days. If you're growing many plants and you're using like a humidifier, a propagator or something like that, or plastic cups on numerous, if there's loads of little ones, you can just see straight away from there. But you want to be able to see that the seedling comes out without disturbing the environment on the inside, I find, right?
Absolutely.
That also, it traps in the humidity, so the more humid it is, the more moisture is going to be getting to the casing of the seed as well, so it softens it and the plant can push it off a lot easier when it comes out of the medium as well. So I think by planting it sideways, like Monkey said, and then keeping that humidity dome on it as well, a cup or something to keep the moisture locked in, that should get rid of the helmet head. You don't have to fuck around too much then, because you don't want to have to take it off yourself. You can kill seedlings doing that. Don't be impatient. Yeah, so have I. Yeah.
Me too.
And you're just there with a little stem, like, it's all right, I'll wait, more leaf will grow.
No.
Crickets play in the background.
Yeah.
Things dead. Yeah, so you don't want to fuck with it unless you really have to. So just leave the casing on it until it shows green. And once it's showing green, essentially when the first 2 leaves come out, for me at least, it's showing that the cotyledons, then put some light on it. Just a small light. Doesn't need anything too strong. You don't need to overpower it. Just a light at a distance. If you're using something strong, then and you can't dim it down, just keep it further away and let the plant just settle for a little bit before you blast it with a shitload of light. What kind of lights are you using for seedlings, Monkey?
I just use my regular grow lights, but they dim down really, really low and really, really well.
Yeah.
I also have a seedling / clone station that I use. Unfortunately, right now it's full of clones, so I can't use it for my seedlings though. But yeah, you don't need a special light. There are certain lights that seedlings like. They seem to like the CFLs and the T5s and things like that a whole lot. They like those because it's a real gentle light. But if you just use your grow light, down. And if you have a meter or can measure it, something like about 250 par for a seedling is fine. They seem to thrive under something like that. And we should also probably talk a little bit about air movement for seedlings, because that's something else that you're going to want to do, is to provide a slight, and I do mean slight, breeze that'll cause your seedling. If you look at the seedling, you only want a very gentle swing of that seedling. You don't want to don't put a fan blowing straight on it. You'll kill the seedling by drying it out. You want like the air bouncing off a wall just to cause that seedling to gently shake. And what that's going to do is strengthen the stem of your seedling so that it won't get long and lanky. It's going to form a nice, healthy, stocky, strong little plant.
And that's right. There's two things you need to do to make sure your seedling don't stretch too much. And that's make sure that it's getting enough light so it's not stretching for light. But it also needs that fan breeze on it as well, because that will force it to grow a strong stem. So don't forget about that fan as well. It's an important thing, man. You know, and this is pretty much as soon as it shows green, ain't it, Monkey? As soon as it shows green, get the lights and get the fan on it. Don't leave it in the humidity dome or in the cup or in the propagator. Don't do any of that. Just get it straight into its pot and start to grow. You know, don't leave it.
You want to do it as quickly as possible, because that thing is going to grow like crazy trying to find light. And if you wait a day, you're going to end up having like 3 inches of stem to plant to deeper when you finally repot that plant, because they really try to find light fast. If you don't give it to them, they'll keep looking. Now, what about the humidity dome? How long do you leave that humidity dome on yours, Mackie?
As soon as I see them come out of the soil, out of the cocoa, as soon as I see greenery popping up, it's done. That's it. It comes off. Fan gets on it, light gets on it. That's it. It's done. Start letting it do its thing.
I'd have to agree with that.
Because the less I find, anyway, in my experience, I find the less you have to fuck around with it, the less chance there is of something going wrong. So I soak the seed for a bit just to give it a better chance of the seed case cracking, and then I'll plant it. I'll put a humidity down, and I'll leave it the fuck alone. You know how many seedlings I've killed simply because I fucked with it? Too many. I should have just left it alone in the first place. And over that time, of all those hundreds of seeds that I've popped, then I've decided that it's better to just stay the fuck away. Put it in the soil, in the cocoa, cover it up just a little bit, then the humidity dome over the top, and then wait for a couple of days. And even then, I can still be a dickhead and fucking kill it, because I think we explained it briefly last week about if I water it too much and flood the cocoa, the seedling gets ripped up and it damages the taproot. I've done that many times as well. You know, so things can still go wrong. You have to be very careful at this stage.
Yeah, they're very gentle. You have to be very gentle. They're very delicate. And that taproot, you have to really baby that taproot, because like Mackie said before, damage on the taproot can kill your grow. You can lower your yield. You can kill your plant. Lots of things can happen. Taproot is critical. And it's weird because clones don't have a taproot, but they do fine. But a little seedling, if you damage that taproot, it ain't going to do fine.
It's an important root, man. But it is a real simple process, isn't it? It's not like it's not a major science. As you can already hear, there's many different ways to do it, as long as you follow the process, and you'll figure out your own techniques as well, which is a bit shit if you're a new grower, because you might not have loads of seeds. Just be like, oh, that one didn't work out. Oh well, here's another. You know, it's a different story when you're first starting out. So you want to be as successful as possible. But trial and error is really the best way you're going to learn. There's going to be a specific way that you're going to figure out that it's a kind of a combination of everything that we have mentioned here today, all four of us. It'll be a combination of all of those, but you'll figure out your own way, you know, and that will work best for you eventually. We've all been growing for a long time, but we all have different ways of starting the process off. So Green Grower just said, when do you take the dome off? As soon as the plant pops above the soil, take that humidity dome off. In my opinion, of course, there's going to be other growers who like say leave it on for 24 more hours and shit like that. But I think as soon as it pops above the medium, it's good to go.
I'll prop mine up. I'll use like a pencil, and when it first pops up off the soil, I'll put a pencil under the dome so I'm getting air coming up under it. But leaving it that way, it'll leave the humidity a little bit higher, and I'll leave it like that way for 24 hours, and then it comes off. My theory there is it doesn't shock the plant as much, just going all off at one time. I don't know if it helps, but certainly it works.
And like I say, we all find these tiny little things that differ from each person, and it all fucking works. So, you know, everybody's got to figure out their own way. But yeah, nice touch there. Like it doesn't shock it so much, doesn't it? I can see the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, in Bobo Hawk and I used to talk about things. We did things almost identical, and we both did this exactly the same thing for the exact same reason. You just find things that work, most after you play with it for a while. Don't be afraid to experiment. This is your growth.
What about you, Margaret? When do you take your humidity dome off?
I don't even have one.
You don't.
That's
You just
fine.
go straight into the soil. But
If
you,
you've got
they
enough
don't have.
humidity in your room, you're good.
No, they don't have no fucking humidity domes out there in the Himalaya. You know what I mean? And these things grow fine out there. So, and that's it's like that used to baffle me when people would think you need to do all of this crazy shit to make it worse. But when realistically these things fall on the ground after being produced by a female plant and a male plant, of course, but that's where the seeds come from. They'll fall onto the ground. They'll lay there dormant for a few months over a winter period, and then when springtime comes back around and it detects, oh, it might be a nice time to grow now, they'll sprout, grow into the ground, and just grow cannabis plants just like that. Now, these things do pretty good in nature, just on their own. The closer you can stick to that kind of method, then the more successful you're going to be, in my opinion. And this is why I like to just do as little as possible. Soak it for a bit, plant it, wait. When you see it pop up, take your humidity dome off and begin your grow. Water very lightly, even in soil, you know, the water around the seedling. Don't get too close to it, man, because if it floods, if it lifts, most times when I've seen that happen, the plant's been dead after that. I haven't seen many plants recover from that. You have to be real careful. And when you're growing in cocoa or a hydroponic medium like that, and you have to water it every day, then you're more likely to do it. If you're in soil and it's in a big enough pot, you see that shit pop up, don't touch it for a week. Just leave that fucker to sit there. You know, there's plenty of moisture in the soil. If you got a decent, say even a 3-liter pot, that should be good for 5-6 days easily, without having to water it again. So you don't have to disturb the taproot at all. That's a ideal method. But again, if it's too strong, it's going to shock the seedlings. So be careful of that as well. There's a lot covered there, isn't there? There's been quite a bit covered, I think.
Yeah, and people always need to remember, if you can't understand or we confuse you or you have other questions, where do you find the answer? And the answer is always come visit us over at Percy's Grow Room and ask, because we'd be happy to answer any questions over there. So if we didn't say something, or you have just want us to hold your hand, come on over to Percy's. We'll help you.
And of course, there is a guide over at percysgrowroom.com as well that explains all of this. As you go through the whole process, it takes you through everything. It's a good guide. Got lots of nice little pictures. Look, it's here on the screen right now, if you can see it. And it just explains the whole process. It explains the paper towel method there, if you wanted to go for that route, planting the seed into the medium, and then just waiting. You know, what kind of mediums are going to be good for you to use while you are germinating the seeds. So all of the information is there over on percysgrowroom.com. And also we have the forum as well. So if you have any problems there, if you want any if you want us to go into more detail about something specific, you can ask a question as well. We can answer it over there, and it's all completely free, of course. So do sign up to Percy's if you're not a member already. But regarding cannabis seeds, is that everything?
Yeah.
Oh no, what to do if a seed doesn't germinate? Let's quickly cover that before we wrap this up, because you might have waited.
Start again.
Would you just
That's
eat
what
it?
I was thinking.
Just eat the seed, give it a rinse off, and then eat it. Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. There's loads of nutrients in there, like loads, like everything.
Yeah,
all
it's
your
considered
amino
a
acids are in
superfood,
there.
right?
It's
I don't know how many
superfood,
nutrients are in a single seed, but can't hurt.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat it. I would just throw it away, everybody. But if you don't, if you see a taproot come out
How
of
would you
it,
throw away a superfood?
because I live in Airstrip 1, we're okay for food right now.
That's what I mean. Like, you're in Airstrip 1, mate. I'd eat that as superfood now.
I'll save it. I'll put it aside. Yeah.
Snack for later.
No, what I was going to say, I forgot what I was going to say there. Yeah, so if the seed doesn't pop, I would give it like 3 days of maybe even 4 days of being in the medium. If I don't see anything by then, looking through the humidity dome, if I don't see a shoot popping up after that long, then I'll start to get a bit concerned, and I'll try moving the medium out of the way, see if I can see the seed, see if a taproot has come out of it, or see if it's even cracked open just a little bit, try and see what the situation is. And if it hasn't moved at all, like it still looks like the seed, I would give that another go. I would scuff the seed with a little bit of sandpaper, nail file or something, just a little something to try and help it open up, and then plant it again for a couple of days and see what happens. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's very rare to even have a seed not pop in the first place. But if I notice that there's a taproot that has come out, then I'm a little bit more cautious with those, because you monitor the length of the taproot. Maybe take a picture of it and then come back 24 hours later, and if the taproot hasn't moved at all, the seed's already dead. You can't even try and revive those ones. But if they haven't popped at all, then you give it a shot at least, see if you can get it to pop, because it does happen. And sometimes they're just a little bit stubborn. Sometimes they can take a week. You can just leave it sitting there sometimes and it will go eventually. But if the taproot has come out and stopped growing, then that seed's dead. You shouldn't even waste your time with that at that point. But what do you think about that, Marguerite? What do you think about the failed seeds? What's your technique?
I'm not going to eat the seed like Billy might, but I will probably toss it away. I'm not sure I'm going to start scratching it on sandpaper, because I figure at this point I've done something wrong, or the seed's not viable or whatever. So I'm just going to start again.
And that's sometimes the best thing to do. Just pop another one. And maybe even pop another one just in case it doesn't work out. That week makes a big difference. You know what I mean? If you've trying to grow 4 plants, 3 of them popped nicely, 1 of them didn't, and you have to start again. That one plant is going to be a week behind the others, and that makes a fucking difference in the early days with a LST. When to top it, what to feed it. All of this makes a difference, man. So it matters. You want to try and get it fixed as soon as possible. But what do you think, Monkey? What was your technique there for getting a seed to pop if it's being stubborn?
Again, just pretty much what Margaret was saying. Toss it, get a new one, keep going.
Yeah. Well, you do have like a million, so
yeah. And like Max was saying, a lot of seed manufacturers actually take pride in the fact that they try to give you as much germination reliability as they can. So like RQS was saying, Max was telling that RQS will contact them. They'll try and make it good for you. A lot of other seed banks will also do that for you. So maybe contact your breeder or your seed bank you bought it from if you're having problems. A lot of them are going to give you advice on how to maybe make it better. And a lot of them also replace seeds that fail. So, but for me, throw it out, get a new one. Don't worry about it. Keep moving. I call it, it's karma basically didn't want me to grow that this time.
Yeah, and it can be disheartening as well for those guys out there when it doesn't pop. And you especially if you're one of these new growers that we're specifically designing this for, if you're one of those guys and this is the first seed that you popped and it didn't work out, man, it can be very disheartening. But just stick with it. It's going to happen. Once you get the technique down, you're going to pop all of your beans, no problem. But, like everything, there's a learning curve. Sometimes you just don't get it right, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't continue. So if you need help, come and ask for it. But Billy, what's your technique over there, man? If your seed doesn't pop, what do you do?
I just leave it an extra day or 2 and then pop some more.
Yeah.
Not worry about it. Just leave it. I have, like, on a perpetual grow, I have so many different ones going in one seed fader ain't going to make a difference. I've got another 12 vegging, so I just pop another seed and carry on.
Yeah.
I probably got 2 more that did succeed, so I don't even need to worry about popping more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I pop more in my normal routine, so it's just it's what I do. Pop all the time. I always bust my seeds into tissues.
Jesus.
What? Well, that's you. That's your mind there, mate. It's got nothing to do. That's not on me, mate. That's
we already knew that, Philly. Yeah. You didn't have to tell us that. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah, beautiful. Well put there, Billy. Well put.
Well
beautiful. I'm gonna cut that out. I'm gonna put it at the end of the episode so people can hear it isolated. You know.
Nice.
We got a soundbite.
New YouTube short.
Yeah, that's about it, isn't it? I mean, I would suggest if you're a new grower, just in case, if you have the heart for it as well, because it's not easy to do, but hear me out. You know, if you're going to grow 4 plants, just pop 5 seeds. And then if one does fail, you don't lose any time. But if all 5 pop, then you might need to get rid of one. And that is that's hard to do. In the early days there, even for me now, I hate killing the plant for no good reason. Like, oh, sorry, we just don't have room for you.
I'm laughing because
You know?
I've killed so many recently.
Yeah.
When you breed seeds, you got to germinate a lot of them just to make sure what you got. And it becomes really easy after a while.
Just stab it 108 times, innit?
Just,
Yeah,
I mean,
and then
literally,
say sorry.
I'm done with you so
They
much.
say sorry, it's all right.
Sorry,
It'll be
yeah.
fine.
It will come
Sorry,
back
it'll be
now.
fine.
There you go. Look, he's fine now. Said
worry,
sorry. It's okay.
I'm gonna talk about how to grow good weed. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it hurts in the early days. Seeds seem to be expensive when you're trying to buy all your new equipment, things like that. You know, inexpensive seeds will probably run you anywhere from 3 to 5 pound a piece minimum. Average seed is going to be about a tenner for an average seed, probably. It can go way higher than that. I mean, some seeds are like 80, 100 pound for a seed.
You can get seeds over at this website called Percy'sGrowroom.com.
Yeah,
Absolutely free. You can just win competitions. You just win.
Yeah.
We've given out so many seeds, all for free.
we give away seeds every seems like every week we give them something away over there. Who knows? But anyway, yeah. But if you're a new grower, don't invest in the super expensive seeds. I would recommend you find a reliable seed that is reasonably priced to learn with. You know, if you can find somebody to give you free seeds, like on Aunt Percy's, that's a great place, or something like that. Bag seeds even not terrible to learn with, but the thing is, you have to pretty much accept what you get when you do bag seed.
And it might be a Hermie.
Yeah. So buy reasonably priced seed when you first start out, and buy things that you know it's going to be reasonably easy to grow and reliable. And
Yeah, I think that's it. I think get the good seeds in the first place. They're more likely to all germinate and be fine. It does happen. Take extra precautions by popping an extra 1 or 2 if you need to. You know, that would be also cool. But as long as you follow the techniques which we've spoken about here, where you've soaked the seed for a few hours, maybe overnight. Marge and Margaret and Billy. I was going to say Marge and Margaret, you know. No, Billy and Margaret. You know, they both leave the seed sitting in the water until the taproot pops and then plant it. So there's lots of different ways to do it. Figure out what works best for you. I recommend, for me, I just soak it for a bit, put it in the medium, and it's fine. But that's because I grow in cocoa. If I was growing in living soil, I'd be using a different technique. You have to find out which way is going to work the best for you. So give it a shot. Don't be shy. Just be patient with it. You know, that's the most important thing. Patience, man. Don't disturb that shit. Once it's planted, leave it 3 or 4 days. If you don't see anything on day 5, maybe be a little bit concerned. But if you planted it deep and you don't see anything by day, maybe you need to give it a couple more days because you planted it deep. You know, there's so many things that need to be taken into consideration. So just be patient. Wait. As long as you followed those steps, soak it, put it in the paper towel if you want to, plant it 1 centimeter deep. That should be plenty. And you should see a shoot within 3 or 4 days. Yep. Humidity dome, of course. Use that. Sorry, monkey.
I said, new growers, remember, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. This has already been figured out. You don't need to reinvent the wheel here. Everything that we're going to tell you has already been figured out. So all you have to do is ask the questions, and the answers are already there available to you. This is not a hard process.
So do it. Get your seeds.
You should have already started. Yes, by now. The first step, breaking that first bean. Break that first bean, and then you're on that road. And
here's a little
as therapeutic as growing your own medicine. I guarantee it.
Bust some different seeds into tissues.
We have Adam Bomb in the chat here. He said, just a quick shout out before we move on to listener mail. And this will tell you, if you're a listener of the show, you're not a member of Percy's, you've got to get over there. This is from Adam. He says, before Percy's, we had 2 seeds bought from RQS. That was a year ago. We have around 100 plus now. So you see, yes. And that is from winning seeds at Percy's and buying them, of course. But the collection grows, man. And like we have been speaking on the podcast now about and it sounds like seeds are nothing to us. Like, oh, it's okay, we just pop another one. And when you're a new grower and you're paying $10 a seed, it's not as easy to just be like, oh, it's okay, just pop another one. You're like, fuck, I've just wasted 50 quid. You know, that's I've been there.
That
Everybody,
hurts. It does hurt.
I've bought packs of seeds, 10 seeds, £50. Like, fuck yeah, this is gonna be fucking awesome. Plant them in my heated propagator, give it a few days, they all dead, cooked. I could have eaten them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So this shit happens, man. You are not alone. Things go wrong. You just have to persevere. Figure out what you did wrong. Move on to the next one. You know. So keep at it, everybody.
Since we're trying to get new growers going right here, why don't we go ahead and do this week, since we're going to go ahead and release this episode during the week. If you want some free seeds from Percy's, well, go ahead and drop your name down in the comments that you'd like some free seeds, just your screen name down there. And next show, we'll do a roll for some monkey beans, and I'm going to send some free seeds to somebody who needs beans. There you go.
Sounds good. So what? Just copy, just paste on the video. What you do?
No, just the YouTube video here. Just come on in and leave a comment on the video. Basically, I'd like whatever you want to say, but say that you'd like to be included for a drawing on free seeds. No problem. Next week we'll give out some free seeds. We'll take the entries from the comments.
Nice. Well, that's going to be a lot of comments.
We'll see. We have no idea, but we want to get some good comments in here though. But yeah, do that. We'll see who gets the seeds. If there's only one comment, it's free seeds.
Just do it. All right, good luck. Nice one, Monkey. A nice little sneaky monkey giveaway.
Man.
The end of the show there.
You can always find that amateur breeders that are on podcasts, that several of us out there are happy to share if you ask correctly. So yeah,
and that's it. Yeah. And Monkey has been kind enough to send me seeds. I have fucking maybe over 1,000 seeds here just from Monkey's seeds as well. And if you're a member over at Percy's, because the thing is, everybody just wants free seeds, man. We like giving seeds out, but we like giving them out to our community. We like looking after our own, you know. So if you're a member of Percy's or a listener of the show, come on, then just come and ask for some fucking seeds, man. We'll sort you out. If you're in the UK, you need beans, don't struggle. We're a community here. You know, if you're like, I can't afford the fucking 50 quid for the beans, don't worry, man. Just come and ask. We've got plenty. We can help you out.
You may have to settle for some of the 20 or so crosses we have on hand, but other than that, be happy to send them.
Yes, man. But I think that's it for the grow guides. Anything to add there? Just do it, innit? Just do it, man.
Just do it, man. Yeah, pop seeds. Pop them.
Pop. It is time to start your grow. Nice.
Can't make your edibles until you pop your beans.
Indeed. You're going to love it. Don't worry. Pop the beans. Get started. And, of course, start your grow diary over at percysgrowroom.com so we can help you along with your grow as well. You're not on your own, everybody.
That's the fastest way to success is start a diary at Percy's, because I guarantee you the community wants you to succeed over there. We're not there for any other reason except to help you succeed.
But just a couple of questions from listener mail. Let's do those.
Oh, gosh. Here we go.
Which one do we do first here? We have let's do the cannabis related one first. Okay. This is from Adam. Yeah, Adam Bomb. This is what's up, HOHG family. In my tent right now, I have 4 plants, and 2 of them are a week or 2 older than the others. Can I just keep topping the older plants until the younger 2 catch up in height? Interesting question, and like we was explaining here throughout the germination episode, sometimes a seed might not make it. For example, if you're growing 4 plants, you pop 4 seeds, 3 work out, 1 doesn't. One of those beans is going to be a week, maybe even 2 behind the rest of them, and that can be a pain in the ass. So they're going to be a different size than the others. What I would usually do in this situation, Adam, is like use books or something to prop the plants up at different heights. So even though you got a level canopy, the smaller one is going to be just boosted up a little bit with a pile of books or a pot upside down or something else that's just going to get it up to the same canopy level as the others. That's what I tend to do, because eventually, before they go into flower, they should reach around the same size, and then you can reduce the height of the. I was in a living soil bed. Well, fuck then, bro. But you know, that's if you're not in a living soil bed, you can just reduce the height of the individual plants. But if you're in a living soil bed, just train it, mate. Just train it as much as you can. Train the bigger ones. You know, just try and keep them as low as possible. I mean, you can top, of course. You can even stress the plants out by super cropping stems and things like that to slow down growth. But I don't know how much you want to do something like that. What do you think about this, Monkey? What's your opinion here?
I read the question earlier, and I'm gonna strictly answer it the way it was written. I think you probably could continue to top them until everything was the same, but I would be concerned of the structure after you've been topping it so many times. After that, pretty much like you said, and I would have taken the same approach you mentioned, and that would be to raise one plant instead of actually trying to slow the other one down. Trying to think about. I guess I don't know. The problem is you're doing it all in the same tent, so you can't really control the light. I guess if it's in soil, you can't control the nutrients. I don't know. Yeah, you can. It can be done, but I wouldn't do it myself. Would be my answer. I wouldn't keep topping that often because I like to, I shape my plants, and once I start topping, the shape is already happening. And if I start topping it again, I've cut all my shape to pieces, and then I got a problem. I would go with a scrog. That's just me.
Yeah.
Scrog solves everything. Scrog solves all the problem.
But you can't top it though. I mean, the most I've topped a plant is like 13 times. But nowadays, in my opinion, you only need to top it once because that releases the hormone that you want to have released to make the plant grow numerous top buds rather than just one. So I only top once now. Yeah, that seems to be enough. But if you need to do it, then you can do it more if you want to.
Oh yeah.
All right. I think you should probably just park in the car park a bit more with the radio on. He gets that joke. No one else needs to.
Okay. What do you think, Margaret? Anything to add to this? What would you do in this situation?
No, I don't think there's anything else to add, really.
Cool. Right, then we got this one from Phil. From Filmy Bowls. You know Phil.
There's finally one I can answer here. So, yeah, there we go.
You're confident about this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right, so here we go.
I read him on purpose because I want to know what he says live with everyone else.
You want to be shocked in the moment.
Yeah, I want to have the moment.
HOHG. Thank you all for everything you guys do and for sharing your knowledge about cannabis and multiverse. But I have yet another question. I found myself in need of a new pH meter, so I smoked a few bowls and headed down to my favorite hydroponic store, and just before entering I finished drinking my milkshake. And this is where my question came to me. Does a straw have 2 holes or 1?
I'll go last.
I love the backstory.
Go on, Billy. You want to handle this one in your lemony state?
How I've got to start talking about holes, have I?
Oh no, Margaret, do you want to take this on?
Yeah, I'll go with 1. I'm going with just the one long hole.
Yes, I think I'm on that same level. What do you think, Margaret?
I have to agree. That just seems like it would be. It kind of reminds me of, like, you mentioned the metaverse. You're like connecting 2 different universes through one straw-like structure. I don't know.
That depends on where you look at it. Does it? So if you look through it all at once, like if you shine it up to your eye, there's just one long hole. But if you look at it at one end and then flip it over to the other, there's 2. So it's like
Schrodinger's straw, yeah.
Yeah, Schrodinger's straw. There you go. Yeah.
Depends how you look at it, right?
Exactly.
And then I was thinking, because necessarily, it does have just one hole, and there's one end to the hole in the other. But does that depend on how long the straw is? Because if you can see one end of the straw, but not the other end of the straw, then it's got 2 holes in it. You know what I mean?
No.
Right. If you pull the short straw, then it's a different scenario.
Yeah,
than if you pull the long straw where you can't see the end.
Yeah, that means that's two holes because there's a hole all
to
the way down
determine
there.
how short or long it is, you have to know how long a piece of string is, didn't you, as well? So that could lead to string theory as well.
That's not what string theory is.
Yeah, I don't think
You know
so.
what string theory? It's just trying to figure out how long a piece of string is because nobody knows.
It's all swings and
Nice.
roundabouts, I suppose.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, very interesting question for sure. And I think I've heard this question being asked before, but I would have to go with just one hole.
Yeah, it's exactly one hole. The question tries to confuse you because it's asking the question based upon a two-dimensional universe. But when you put a three-dimensional universe in there, every hole has a depth. Even a hole in a piece of paper has a depth. So this is just the beginning and the end of the hole was all you're looking at. So yeah.
Are you saying every hole's a goal or something there? Is that it?
Every hole has a depth, but not every hole has a beginning and an end. Some holes are blind and some holes go all the way through. So, you know, a blind hole would have an end, but not another opening at that side of it. But, yeah.
What about a black hole, though?
True. There is an end to it, but we just don't know where it goes.
Is there an end?
No, there
your
isn't.
end. Your end.
Maybe we are the end. Or are we the beginning of the black hole? That's
You'll never know where the end is. You'll be dead
that's the next question then. Are we the beginning or the end of the black hole? So are we in the hole or are we out the hole?
Strange things happen at those kinds of pressures, it seems.
So, and the question where if it's a really long hole to where you can only see one end of the hole, well, as much as you know, that hole only has one opening, and if you discover the other side and figure out they connect, then it's still one hole with two openings.
Well, let's look at it like there's a long tube, which is essentially a straw, and somewhere, let's say a pipe, because it's essentially a straw.
Yeah,
somewhere in that pipe, there's a blockage. You're not like, oh, there's a blockage in the 34th hole of the tube. You know what I mean? There's just a blockage.
34 miles, yeah,
there's a blockage in the hole, the one individual hole that exists in the pipe.
But if there's a blockage, then there's two holes in there. There's one each end. That creates two holes then.
Ah, mate, yeah, look at that.
No.
So a straw has got one hole unless it is blocked by something, and then it has two.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So when you suck on it,
yeah, we're cracking the code here, Margaret.
When you suck on the straw, it creates the vacuum of space.
So when I take a board and stick it on a drill press and drill a hole in that board, I drilled one hole in that board, but then I slide a plug down into that hole halfway down. You're telling me I made two holes?
Yeah, that's science.
Yep.
I just want to mention, like, if there's any world leaders here that are looking for consultants or whatever, the high
don't ask us. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I think we've pretty much proven over the last couple of years that we can answer any question.
Exactly.
And we got this, man. We got this.
We got this. We got this. Yeah.
Elon, give us a shout. We're there for you, man. All right.
Yeah, you need good advisors for sure.
You need the exact advice that only we can provide.
I think so. And I think he like smokes enough weed to like really understand what we're saying as well. I get these people. Jesus. Well, yeah, great question there, Phil. I hope you understand the physics and string theory behind the dynamics of holes. Now, I hope that all makes sense.
It's super clear by now.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, but the Stargate goes a lot of different places. You know what I'm saying, Greengrocer?
Yeah,
I love Stargate. Great TV show. You're saying?
That's just the Stargate. That's only like an access point to the wormholes, if you will.
Yeah, man. But that's all the list of mail questions. I think we're all done here. Are we done? Anything to add? Thanks for the questions.
Sad.
Yeah. What's sad?
Oh, it's the end of the show.
But not quite. We've got the outro. Let's do the outro.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Music playing.
I assume everyone's doing a jizzy dance in all the audience there. To the
just
music.
you, bro. Just you.
Oh, right.
Everybody else just does normal dances. Yeah, how's those lemons hitting you, Billy? Is it?
Yeah, the lemons are good, man. For a moment, you stand there and think, "Oh, maybe I'm becoming more lucid now," and then you're like, "Whoop, no,
no." And then waves come on strong, bro. Yeah, and then like oh, whew. Oh, that's good. I think I'm on the way down now. And it's like, oh
Yeah.
no, I'm not.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but you handled it well, man. You managed to get through the show and you mash up like that.
Yeah,
Congratulations. And you're still going to be going for a couple of hours,
to everyone else.
Yeah. Congratulations to us too.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you, of course, to everybody for joining us and for listening. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. And yeah, of course, leave comments, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, share, all that kind of stuff if you can. But of course, no pressure. We just appreciate everybody being here and chilling with us on a Sunday, all right? It's good times.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Is there anything to add? Do you want to let everybody know where to go to find your podcast there, Margaret? No?
Is she on mute? Is she run off?
She's muted.
Yes, I am on mute. If you're talking away.
Nah.
A rookie mistake, but you can find Bite Me the Show About Edibles on your favorite podcast platform, or you can go to bitemepodcast.com.
Nice.
Yeah, normally I'd drop that in chat, but I've got an excuse not to.
Yeah, you can't do it right now.
Yeah.
I can't find his fingers.
Yeah. My fingers, I got 20 fingers, so like, yeah.
It's good fun though. It's good. It's a nice buzz, man. It's very enjoyable.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So that's it. We'll catch you on, I don't know, Thursday. We've got the interview with Margaret. If you're a Patreon, then come and join us for that. But of course, the cannabis news will be out tomorrow. Interview on Wednesday. Grow Guys Friday. And back to the live show again next Sunday. So I hope you all have a good week. Stay high and stay safe and all that. And of course, if you have any questions, you know where to find us. See you on the next one, everybody. I think that's it, right?
That should be it.
Yeah, man. Ciao.
Nice professional ending. Anything to add there, Billy?
Nah, that's it, really.
Or while you're kind of looking at the other dimensions there, anything insightful to add?
No, I think we discussed it with Phil then. We've got enough insightfulness there for enough evenings. Like the Schrodinger's straw. I think everyone should try and get grips with that one.
Nice. It's a good metal band name. Schrodinger's straw.
I think we should call it Straw Theory.
Okay, let's do it. I like it. Straw theory. It's not rocket surgery, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one. Stay high, stay safe, and all that. Goodbye, everybody.
Waving.
Bye, everybody. See you later.
Does it sound like I'm falling when I say goodbye like that?
Not really.